You're listening to WZYE. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Happy. Relentless search for luxury, in search of peace and happiness, the human mind wouldn't rest. A constant nag within we soul, demanding respect from the world. We get the urge in different form, but luxury is the norm. Money is very essential, but can't buy peace of mind at all. We still like dogs without a bone, if we have the money alone. Because appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because importance, if we are drive to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. No barrier, race and class doesn't matter. Once you are alive, you in the game. You do anything to get a good name. Some wealthy men turn to suicide, can't find food to feed their pride. The aged and crippled in the ring fight to be like a king. Children become delinquent for lack of love from their parents. That's why appreciation is most important to man. Appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important, if we are tried to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Solution to bad industrial relations. Employees will gladly draw their pay and do the job half the way. When workman feeling unwanted, the working spirit is daunted. He comes on the job and fool around, production going down. Just make him feel significant. You get him do anything you want. A pat on the back is the best move for relations to improve. Because appreciation based on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important, if we are drive to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Our deepest craving is common. We got I'm holding on in order to stay around in a life terribly imbalance. For it is nature's way until judgment day. Weakness ain't got a chance. Playing some cause I realize the price little one must pay to keep the big one in paradise.
I say you get up one morning, your elders have something, you don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day, and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil. Why? Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With that dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man do get nothing easy. Say you get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it care how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up
to slave night and day. For next to nothing pay, so they can't see the way. We don't enjoy equal facility. Like Pharaoh and company, brainwashing we say we free. We just can't hold this way. We just can't hold this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't hold this way. And to make them oppress us pay. We just can't hold this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't hold this way. Suffer like this. You said that you will take care of the poor, just like you did in Egypt. When Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage, you delivered them. But here again, we are in the same khaki pants. We have those modern Pharaohs who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lie. Not even thinking that we would realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppress us pay. So the children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray.
from human attack. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's In the Village with the Dad Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know, in the village we originate, we don't imitate. As I always say, doesn't matter what color t-shirt you have on a pink t-shirt, a purple t-shirt, a burgundy t-shirt, a salmon t-shirt. Yes, a salmon t-shirt. You're welcome in the village with the Dad Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Also, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what planet you're from. You're from Mazatanians, Venuranians, Xenoranians, Sonaranians. Each and every one is welcome in the village with the Dad Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, let me say a special welcome to 1/3 of the Dad Triplets. No other than the Onyx Wave, Waveney, McDonald, Ben Skin, Stormy, Storm, Greta, the Trinbagonian, the Bajan, the Trinbagonian, from by way of St. Augs or St. Augustine. Yes, yes, on her way to Piarco Airport to go back to Barbados. No other than Ben Skin, McDonald.
Yeah, but one part, some of that equation you have right. I did have to go via St. Augustine to go to Piarco in 1979 to go back to Barbados.
So I did right.
Yeah, so and I did for those that all you Marcos, I did have a Trini passport a long time ago. So it's in archives.
Yeah, but I ain't get the facts wrong. I get the facts absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had my first passport in 1979. Thereabouts. Yeah.
The Bajan passport.
Trinidad passport.
Oh, okay.
The first passport I probably had was a Bajan in order to come to Trinidad.
Well, that's what I say. I said the first
But
passport was a Bajan passport.
But unless back in the day you traveled on just a document as a child, I don't know.
No, you needed a
I don't
passport.
know. All right, so I've never seen it, that passport, but I know my first Trinidad and Tobago passport. I acquired it about 1979, and I felt like a boss, you know. I had my high school passes, I had my ID card, I had a bank account, I had my passport. I felt like a boss, Anselm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You saw GC?
Yeah, GC. Yeah,
Oh.
I had my my little bank account with I think it was Barclays. Barclays.
Wait. You want an account with Barclays?
I think it was Barclays or Scotia in Tunapuna. Why? I can't remember. It's so long ago.
When you live in
Barclays, huh?
when you live in Schumacher, you could not afford a account in Barclays. You had to go to the penny bank.
Penny bank. I had a job.
You don't know about the penny bank?
No, I don't know about no penny bank. I heard about it, but I didn't engage in.
Anybody in the chat about the penny bank?
I heard about it, but I did not engage with it, Anselm.
No, I understand why you didn't engage it. I understand.
Why I didn't engage? My paycheck was too high.
Correct is right. You know, I mean,
Anselm, I used to work at Kirpalani's
Oh God, you used to work at Capelanis. I used to pass Capelanis.
in St. Augustine.
Well, Capelanis in tongue. I used to pass Capelanis.
Yeah, it's like the one where Marcia. And then I worked at Metal Box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I pay taxes in Trinidad and Tobago.
You know,
What
the only
all the
job I
time.
got in Trinidad was at 10 days.
No, I worked at Kirpalani's. I worked at Metal Box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my own parlor outside Eros Cinema when they had a big flick going on. I would sell my little things on the side, my Seymour's and the fried chicken and chips and making money.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I used to sell plenty. I used to sell mango and chenet.
Mango and cherry, I sell
Yeah.
Seymour's. I had the rotis wrap. I would have a set count, chicken and chips, bread and shark or whatever, bacon shark, whatever.
You used to make it
Um,
or you used to go and buy it somewhere?
What do you mean, Megan? I would it was a girl named Sumatri and Indra. They would make the skins for me, and I would cook the curry. It was too much work for me, and to get the place ready. I'd fry my own chicken and chips. I fried my own shark and made my own sea moss, and that's how I made my little hustle. When they had a flick came out, I think Grease, Grease
Okay.
with Olivia Newton-John and
Oh,
John Travolta.
you
Well,
went
I
and see
saw
that? You went
I
and see
saw
that
it.
in
Yeah, I saw
Trinidad?
it. Yes, and then
Wow.
and
What's
then
the number you went to see that?
on weekends I sold stuff.
What's the number you went to see that?
Eros.
Eros?
Yeah, it
Well,
was on
no, we used to go to our cinema called Odeon or Pyramid.
Eros was on the main road in Tunapuna. We had
Yeah. Now
Palladium. We had what was the other one? All helping right there. Can't remember.
we
I used to
couldn't
call it
afford it.
Roachville.
We used to go to Odeon or
Mhm.
Pyramid.
I used to go to Planet in Curep too.
Oh God, Planet in Europe. Now I used to walk by there.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I went.
all them big cinema, Vistarama, Globe. I remember
Mhm.
I went Globe. I think I went Globe once in my life in Trinidad.
I went Globe many times to see concerts.
Globe was
Um,
expensive. Odeon was the poor people cinema. And I used to go in pit too, eh?
I can't remember where I saw Teddy Pendergrass live.
You saw Teddy Pendergrass too?
Live in Trinidad. 1979 or
In a
78.
cinema?
No, it could have been a cinema or it could have been one of them hall, Queen's Hall one. I don't
Queen's
remember.
Hall?
Rennie B might be one to tell me exactly where it was because he was involved in bringing him to Trinidad.
You know, I remember seeing Queen's Hall when I look in the newspapers.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember seeing Queen's Hall like that. Looking in the
Yeah,
newspaper.
yeah. Plenty of, I went to, there were disco, I used to go to disco. There was one in town, Palava Place,
You used to
you
go to
know.
disco too?
I mean, if I used to go Palava Place,
I never went to disco in Trinidad.
huh?
I never went to disco.
They had one in a JB's in Valsane.
Valsin?
Yeah, they had Palava Place up one of them street in town. I can't remember. There
Oh.
was Heritage all the way out, Carenage.
Nah, yeah.
There was Rolls Royce,
We
a
couldn't.
lower part of one of them streets. I can't remember. It's so long ago,
Yeah, we,
but
we,
I
we,
know.
we couldn't afford them kind of thing you talking about
It
there.
was when you never Perseverance Hall,
No, never know about that. But that was.
L&M Disco in Harima.
No.
Ah, so you ain't live, man.
What do you mean?
Uh,
Chumaka, I live. I used live.
man, places you had to be ready, be playing at a fete.
Rennie.
And in my life, one time I went to a fete in Lavantil where bad boy or something, Gemma and some
Oh,
other
Funky
fellow.
Gemma.
Yeah, and another fellow, popular guy.
You know she
Right?
just be on radio now, calling in all the
Yeah.
time.
And
Yeah.
I used to play some serious music, man. But in Lavantil, a group of us went, and we
She was a
all,
real good DJ though. She was a
yeah,
real good DJ.
music, man, music.
You
And
know
I took her,
Nutcracker?
who?
Nutcracker.
No, I don't
Big
know
Man
none of
George,
that.
Fat Man George.
It might have been Fat Man with Madman, Maddie, and Gemma. Swanky
Yeah.
Gemma.
And we have Fat Man George from up Lavantil.
Yeah, Madman, my let's come back to my Swanky Gemma. I think that was
Yeah.
a call tax. And I that one time I went into Lavantil and Fete, and I never went back in there. And then I
What's wrong
migrated.
with Laventil? You
I
always
didn't
just
say anything wrong with Lavender,
you
but
just used to hear thing about Laventil.
I
I
was
never
on my I was on my
Laventil.
P's and Q's.
Nothing used to happen. Nothing used to happen up in Laventil them days. If anything happened, is a little bosser or like you bust
Yeah.
a big toe or something, and nothing big. Let me say a special. Of course, first in the village tonight again was no other than Nadia.
Hi,
Next,
Nadia.
Nadia was first. Oh, folks, Tommy will be joining us a little late. Tommy should be joining us a little late. He has to do an event with his family. Nadia said good night, and Sam. I noticed Nadia ain't give me no yellow emojis tonight, boy. Yeah, but she
Mm.
said good night, Tommy, but Tommy get yellow ones there. Tommy get blue, purple, blue, green, yellow, red. Yeah, boy. Nadia giving you diversity in her emojis, but
Mm.
Anna, I
Mhm.
think I think something wrong with Nadia phone or she laptop when she give you them kind of emojis, eh? Cause nothing do come up.
And she must be vexed with me because she lock out Stormy in a naughty corner.
Nah, she ain't vex you, man. You know, long I see Takesha in a little bit, you know.
She was interacting with me earlier.
Okay, all right.
With her
All right.
children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Nadia says good night, Vonnie, Ken, John, Albert, Rennie, Mohammed, Troy, Ellis, Ulrich, Capiza. Good night.
Mhm.
Don't forget that folks coming up at approximately 8:05. We have Assemblyman from Tobago. He's the assemblyman for infrastructure in Tobago. Um, Another one of the James brothers, Trevor James. You know, them fellas and them bright too bad. I never see a family bright so like that.
I tell you, all the light bulbs were shared in the house.
I ain't
Look,
lying, but
Albert. Albert said, yeah, right at Eastern Main Road and McCoy Road, that junction, right there, Tommy. Right there, Albert, I made some good money in a parlor.
nah, I know about that. And here we
Yeah.
go, folks. Rennie was second in the village. He says, good evening, boys and girls. Love in the house. Great love is all I bring.
Mm-hmm.
He says, respect to the panel, Mr. Walls, Lady Diana, Mr. Tommy. Yeah. He said, sending out terrific, fantastic, gigantic,
Mm.
organic love to all the ladies. And here we go. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Diana, let me see what you have in store for we today, Diana.
Larry, he was
You, you,
not
you,
in the
you
mood.
you ready?
Larry,
You ready?
I have serious matters to write. Oh, Larry.
All right. So here, yeah, Rennie's going tonight. Here we go. Minding my business, I stumble on WZYE, where everyone is like family. I looked to and fro and said, this the place to be. I know I would see something in a beautiful form, Diana. My eyes become locked on sexy storm. My storm. It was to be the last. Just can't put you in the past. A lady so nice. I had to do it twice. Time is going to come. It is a must. Pretty soon you'll be asking me what I want for breakfast. And
Police, police,
oh
police,
God, oh God, yeah.
police,
Let me read that again. All you know, other people in the village, all you had to start getting any little competition. You understand? Let me read it again. It says, minding my business, I stumble on WZYE, where everyone is like family. I looked to and fro and said, this is the place to be. I knew I would see something in a beautiful form, Diana. My eyes become locked on sexy storm. My storm. It was the last. Just can't put you in the past. A lady so nice. All right, all right. All right, hold up, hold up, hold up. Oh, God, all in a son, my computer want to get trouble now. Let's stop that now, man.
Good, good.
A lady so nice, I had to do it twice. Time is going to come. It is a must, Diana. Pretty soon you'll be asking me what I want for breakfast.
Yeah,
Humanity.
very good.
Oh God.
Right.
Really?
His lyrical, what do you call it? Limericks. You have lyrics in your limericks.
But he good. He good.
Yeah, lyrics in the limericks. I said
Yes.
yeah, lyrics in the limericks.
So we had a
He
game.
good,
Had a game. He prop.
he good at rhyming, but I don't know all the things he predicting it go be happening because you can't come to my house and order and say that I am going to give you breakfast. That ain't no must.
Nah, well, you could game. You ain't bunk the game break. You could game dinner. If
He,
you want,
he gonna be starving. He ain't got nothing to eat.
you could game dinner.
Yeah, good. That good for Rennie. I hope your wife see all them lyrics you're passing there. Go ahead.
Yeah. And he says, Dr. Love would like all villagers to know that I have full respect for everyone. It's just about a little laughter and friendly fun. And Rennie, that is full 100. We,
I understand that.
we know in the
You
village.
understand that.
We know in the
Mhm.
village. And we telling all you do not take it serious. We put information on the table and we stay a family. That is it. You understand? Many of you have been with us from the start to now. And we want you all to continue to be loyal to what we are trying to accomplish here. Continue supporting whichever party you want to support. We don't have no problem with that. We don't
Hey,
have no,
Rennie, right for Judy now. Judy said they had nobody to match you. Right for Judy now.
no, why you ask? Let Judy write for herself. Why you asking me right?
Right for Judy. Right, all right.
No,
I'll
no,
let
no.
me for Judy.
No, I wouldn't encourage that.
Why not?
No. I would,
Share. I want to spread the love.
no, I want Judy to write for herself. I want Judy write for herself.
Let him write one for Judy. I want to spread the love.
No. Yeah, nah. Rennie Love is well placed.
Mm.
Yeah. When he says good evening to all the lovely ladies, blessing the storm included, trust all is well. Ansem and Tommy continue to do good work, being truthful to the listeners, not like a certain station only pushing PNM agenda. Yeah, but funny, your partners over in the underground report does push a certain agenda too. Nah, but I don't get vexed with them. Everybody entitled to do what they want to do. Hi Nadia, Takisha, Rose, Joan, Lana. Hope you all having a great weekend. You see Lana. Judy
Yeah,
says,
that's
blessed
my
evening.
girl from Tunapuna. Which she
Yeah.
is?
Yeah. Judy said, blessed evening to the threesome host, Ansem, Diana, and Tommy. Welcome
Hey,
back to another great evening.
careful with that word, girl. Careful with that word.
No, she mean three people. Yeah, Judy says, evening, village family. Hope everyone is bright and wonderful. What, boy? Judy said, not real love emojis, boy. Nice heart and all kind of thing. Do care how things is. Be grateful for everyone, and this too shall pass. Yeah. Full 100. Trinidad Margot. Planet in Curep. Who's that?
Mhm. Planet
Who's
is
that?
in Curep, up behind Curep Junction, a cinema.
Oh, yeah?
Mm.
How much was to go in there?
I don't know, but maybe I know when the fellas went in pit 25 cents, 50 cents to see a karate flick.
Nah, can't be that cheap. Odeon was
Yeah, it used to be 50
25
cents,
cents.
25 in pit. I used to go in balcony. I always had a date.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's yes. Maybe when we used to go Odeon, maybe it was 10 cents. Well, or anybody, let me tell you this. Anybody in the chat know Odeon or Pyramid
I've heard of Pyramid.
or Empire?
Yeah.
It was Empire.
Empire. I've heard of Empire.
Right across some
Mhm.
Pyramid was Empire. Right? Them was these cinemas for no, them wasn't cinemas, them was theaters. Cinemas was the upscale one, theaters was the you know,
Mm.
and deluxe. Remember deluxe? Deluxe.
Deluxe. Oh, yeah. Deluxe cinema.
Yeah, boy. You know, I never went deluxe.
I went to all of them.
I used to pass deluxe because deluxe are by Savannah. I used to pass there
Mhm.
all the time.
I always had some stupid fellow want to carry me to the movie. So I say, okay, we're going to the expensive place. And I want grapes and nuts for my treat. Me don't want no cheap corn curl and thing. Grapes and nuts.
And then that one called Vistarama. Remember that
Mm.
one?
Then they had the drive-in K Donna. When you go there when the rain fall in, mosquito bites in here, boy. Oh Lord.
Hey Rose, check your message. I send you a message. Check your message. I send you a message. I ain't see you read it yet. Check your message, Rose. Rose, welcome. Nadia, good night to you. Trinidad Margot, good night to you. That theater was in Curep.
Mm-hmm.
Albert Montano, good night to you as well. Good night. Good evening. Good night. You know, we say good night. Good evening, everyone in the village. Rose, yeah. Good night, Judy. Yeah, we figure Eros. Yeah. I used to pass by them cinema them. Albert said good evening, Ansem, Diana, and Tommy. Yeah. Yeah. Nadia says, good night, Albert. Boy, I know it's not easy. I'm sorry to hear that. God bless you and keep you out these times.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Judy says, Albert, I asked for you. Albert, good evening. I asked for you because of concern. All is bright and beautiful. Yeah. Albert said, Judy, it takes some to get over a loss. My sister was 82 and I'll be 78 in October.
Mhm.
Okay. Judy said, I have no one to match Rennie Moment. Yeah, but Rennie get real big. Well, my condolences to you and your family, Albert Montano. Hailey, you feel Hailey could match Rennie?
No,
Hailey,
yeah, but who you gonna write it for? Not me, Hailey.
No,
Find
I
another
ain't gonna write
relative.
nothing for you. No, I can tell you right now.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Right for the other women in the village.
Judy, you are correct. Rennie Mohammed Love is Diana one and only.
Oh, Jesus, Lord.
Oh
Woo.
God.
Moving
Eh,
right along.
hey, Judy, I mean Roseyard, Dirty with Mangoes.
Right, mangoes.
Yeah, I remember all them cinemas. South and North too. Yeah, Judy, you remember Odeon and Pyramid and Empire? Yeah. Yeah, Deluxe was for those local whites. Yeah. I know Judy.
You could have gone. I went deluxe plenty time.
Let me tell you, I knew my limit, eh?
I went to deluxe. I was taken to balcony. I never sit nowhere else.
Nah, I
Sorry,
went.
fellas.
I remember the first time I went Globe. I sat on in balcony for the first time. Not balcony. What is the other one? It's pit and then
Pit, mezzanine, and balcony or something like
balcony
that.
was all the way on the top. Right?
Mezzanine, they call it.
No, I remember what they call it. Now I remember
I
Pit
think it's
very well.
mezzanine.
You know the
Mm.
first movie I ever saw. You remember the first
Mm.
movie I ever saw?
Me?
Yeah.
The Sound of Music.
First movie I ever saw was Tree in the Attic with Raquel Welch and Jim Brown.
Uh,
I'll never forget that, boy.
I saw The Sound of Music in Barbados.
Can you all remember the first movie I ever saw? The first movie I saw was in Odeon Cinema in Pitt, Tree in the Attic, boy.
Mm.
Yeah. Jim Brown and Raquel Welch. Jim Brown was a famous, he has passed on. And
I remember.
Trinidad Marcos Song of Music too, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I know.
I know. I loved it so much. I remember they bought me a little record player, and I would play the record over and over, and I knew all up to now all the songs from the song.
Well, let me tell you how I know of Song of Music, right? My wife loves Song of Music.
Ooh.
And she will listen to that thing over and over and over. Let me listen. Watch it over. That's how I knew of Song of Music.
I love the Sound of Music. Whenever every year I try to look at it. It's my buy list. I bought that. I bought The Color Purple. I bought To Serve with Love. Certain movies I bought and kept in my digital log.
Yeah, Diana, Judy get it. Pit, house, and balcony was house.
It was house, yes,
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
house,
Pit, house,
not
and
mezzanine.
balcony.
You're
Yeah,
right,
yeah, house.
house,
Yeah.
house.
I remember the first time I went house. That was in Glow, boy. Oh, I was in my glory, boy. I remember I think I buy popcorn that day too, yes. Because when we go there, we used to sneak in we own food, eh?
Mm.
We couldn't afford nothing in the theater. We used to sneak in we own food, boy. Yeah.
No, I remember outside you always had the fella selling what was it called? Oysters in the bucket,
Nah, I
especially on
never
a
eat that.
Friday. You
You used
don't
to
know
buy
what
that?
oysters is?
I never ate that. Never.
Not me. I done. I know.
Yeah, you
Partners.
should
I
put
was.
pepper in it and ketchup and
Yeah, it was.
just
It
take it
was
out the
too
shell.
thin for me. I don't. I don't like smelling nothing fresh. I smell it. I mean drinking it or eating it.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Cookies are welcome. Julie,
Mhm.
I go say the color purple is one of my all-time favorite.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
Trini Margot. Yes.
yeah. Julie said her first movie was Ten Commandments. Hey, Julie, I just said
I
that.
bought that too. Yes.
I think the first movie when I went to Globe was to see Ten Commandments.
Remember, my name is Trinity, and they call me Trinity, and Trinity is still my name.
Was that
Well,
a movie?
Western. Well, I was a fat Western, a guy and a blonde hair, blue eye fella.
Who
And
sang that?
my name is Trinity. Judy, come on, back me up here, Albert.
My name
My
is Trinity.
my name is Trinity. That was famous
How
movies.
much you was
Right?
just showing? How much you was just showing in St. Augustine?
No, 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 no. Come on, Judy and Albert. All they back me up here. My name is Trinity, and they still call me Trinity. Then whenever them showing the cinema pack,
You see, look. Heidi just come and he start already. He just come.
sneaking
Anytime you
you.
go in house to sneak in your own food. That is living beyond. that's, that is living beyond your money can go. No boy. When I went to Odeon, a pit. We went to pit. And I sneak in my own food in pit. When I
Oh
went
Lord.
Globe and I went house, I buy
Mhm.
popcorn for the first time. I wonder if I was with a
Mhm.
young lady boy. I remember.
Oh, you better be careful. Your wife listening. But anyway,
Uh,
uh,
who's that? Capiza says Nero Franco. Who's that?
yeah, the blonde hair guy. Thank you, Capiza.
Who's
Yes,
that?
thank you. And name the movie, Capiza. Tell him. Tell him
Who's
the name
Nero
of the
Franco?
movie. Tell him Capiza. Capiza coming with it. Come
That
with
was
it,
the star?
Capiza. Come with it.
I
What?
never saw that movie. That movie show in Trinidad or in Barbados?
Anybody in the village remember my name is Trinity and they call me Trinity? Come on, people.
No. I remember
No,
Five
it
Man.
wasn't. That wasn't Steve McQueen, Judy. That was a different
Yeah,
fella.
Julie Steve McQueen had some real good, the original Django boy. Steve McQueen had some of the best Western boy.
I
What?
didn't like I didn't like Lee Van Cliff and Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Leave on them are good
Terrence
ones
Hill
too.
and Bud Spencer. Thank you, Kevin Williams.
Who's that?
Thank you.
Who's
Tell him
Terrence Hill?
Kevin, tell him the movie that they appeared in. Tell him, back me up. They
Who's
come in
Terrence Hill?
here. Look at the blonde hair one.
That movie that
Uh,
needs to show. That movie that needs to show in
Hey, Kevin,
pyramid.
tell him the name of the movie where they're acting. Come on,
That
answer.
movie. That
I mean,
movie that used to show in Odeon and Pyramid and Empire.
we're talking about everywhere you go, you can't get in
But
to
listen,
see.
movies
My
that you
name
show
is
in Eddie.
Trinity. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Listen. Them movies that used to show in all cinemas in Trinidad.
Charles Bronson. How you mean you Charles?
You it
Charles
didn't.
Bronson. Lee Van Cliff. Thank you, Capiza. That was my man.
Who's
Remember in the bubblegum cards, you used to get the Western fella. Well, I never did like John Wayne. For some reason, I don't know why. I get to find out later on.
they said John Wayne was batting from both sides of the wicket,
I never did like. He had a kind of way about him. I didn't like. But I did like me some Lee Van Cleef. Man, don't mess with that Clint
Lee
Eastwood.
Van Cleef.
Mm.
5 Man Army. You remember 5 Man Army? There's a big Western. You remember that?
No, that only showing love too.
No, we not no movie in that one.
I never hear about that one.
Hey, all I never hear about 5 Man Army?
No.
Okay, come on. That
That's
was a
showing.
big Western. You see, then again,
That's showing Tobago. In Roxborough.
It only showing Pyramid, Empire, and Odeon.
Eli Wallach.
Yeah, that's our next one. That's our next good one.
Judy says she love top of the hour answer. Judy says she love old westerns. Yeah, me too.
You never heard about 5 Man Army? Who started in that? But was it Lee Van Cleef?
No answer. That only showed in Trumaka. Once upon a time in the West. Yes, Capiza. Name them.
What was that? What was that one? I don't
That's
know
old.
who started that one.
Once upon a time in the West. That was Eli Wallach in that, I think.
Eh,
Or Lorne Green.
what the baddest man live on top of the hill?
Il Sancho.
Where's that one? Them.
But wait. But let me tell you something. The time when the cinema used to be in uproar was when you had the kung fu flicks,
Yeah, boy.
right? But you share
Wang
next to,
Wang
and
Yu.
you know who coming in? Who coming in the cocktail? The fellow, the long blonde fellow with the beard, long beard, and the long ponytail, and he ripping, boy. I say, yeah. And
Remember Wang Yu? Wang Yu? Yeah.
yeah. And the fella
Yu-
coming, man, and when you see the fella, the cinema ball out, yeah, they clapping.
Oh, yeah, the one. The good, the bad, and the
Bad and
ugly.
the ugly, yes.
That was our boss. Who was in that one again? That was our boss one.
That was what's his name? Clint Eastwood and Eli Wallach.
Yeah. That was our big one. Yeah, but I only used to see them showing in other cinemas. Then they used to show in Odeon, Pyramid, and
But I used to like my black flicks too. And the first time I saw Tamara Dobson,
used to show black flicks in
Cleopatra
Trinidad.
Jones. Yeah, Cleopatra Jones. And she was driving a stick shift. And she carried a gun, and she was an FBI agent, a black woman, big afro, long hair. I said, I want to grow up to be like her.
So folks, click and stay. It's in the village with the triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Coming up next, we have with us the assemblyman out of Tobago. I could say he's in the Ministry of Infrastructure in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know how it is when you're in the Ministry of Infrastructure in Trinidad and Tobago. You know what? The central government is trying to make it very difficult for them. And he's going to tell us about a few projects in Tobago. We talk about the chief administrator as well. You know, we're gonna talk about a few things tonight. So stick and stay. Right now it's just Diana, Anselm, and you in the village with the Dat triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. So folks, stick and stay. We'll be right back after this message. It's in the village with the Dat triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Back with you. It's in the village with the Dat triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. So let's bring in our guest live and direct from the Tobago, Assemblyman Trevor Williamson James.
Good
Mr. Trevor
evening.
James,
Good evening.
how you
Good
doing?
evening. Good evening. Good to be here. Thank you
How are you,
guys
sir?
for having me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Doing the best that I can in the position that I now have, and trying to represent Tobago as best as we can.
Mm.
Good evening,
No,
Mr. James.
yeah, that's Diana also with
Good
us. We
evening.
normally
Good
have a
evening,
third person.
Diana.
Yeah, but
Good evening.
he's kind of busy.
Oh,
By the way,
is his brother always gave me pressure, right?
yeah, when your brother come in, your brother is a friend of WZYE 95.9 FM. Eh? So yeah, so
I
yeah.
have many brothers.
Well, two of them.
Yeah. But
Max,
there's one in particular that's giving pressure.
right? Max
Uh,
and the Dr. Winford, right?
uh,
They are friends of WZYE 95.9 FM. So when they come
well,
in, you say you're smiling, they just come out, they just smile.
Mm.
When Diana, they just smile even more.
ah,
And I'm always in Tobago, eh? Watch it.
all
By the
right.
way, I just say that my father is from Roxburgh, Tobago. Eh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm a Tobagonian. My father born and bred in Tobago. You understand?
He's from
You have good
Chumaca.
blood,
Oh,
Anselm.
yeah,
Huh?
he's from
You have
Chumaca.
good
Go
blood.
on.
I have good stock. Good stock.
Good stuff.
I come
Yes.
from good stock, man. Yeah.
Mr.
They have good
James,
stock. I come from good stock.
Mr. James, anybody the real Tobagonian, Sparada Calypso, all them Tobago girl.
Uh,
Take like a butt. I is the real Trinidad. I is the Begonian.
you're the
Look
real
at
case of
are we
gold.
gal here? Are we gal sit down here?
All right. All right. Good to be on.
Yeah, so Trevor, we have seen Assemblyman James. We have seen the many going on in Tobago. And could we say your ministry? Could we say it's your ministry? Because we are accustomed with things in Trinidad.
We call
What
them
would you call it?
divisions in Tobago for now.
Divisions, right?
Yes.
So you are in charge of the division of infrastructure, right? And there are other things that come along with it as well. So tell us a little bit
Infrastructure,
about
quarries, and urban development.
right. So one of the big things we had recently in the past was the issue with regarding the Studley Park license, right? And the Studley Park Enterprise Limited, which is spelled right.
Yes.
And we know that is a key company in the THA's governance structure. So just take us to what's the status with regards to that license as far as what happened just a few months ago.
Well, Anselm, before we get to that, it's probably good to do a little history. A couple of years back, the PNM government in Trinidad brought a couple of bills to the House, supposedly in an effort to give Tobago what they call improve autonomy or further autonomy or more autonomy. Those are not phrases that I ascribe to. It's either we are autonomous or we're not. One of the clauses in those bills was that says the government of Trinidad and Tobago should have the right to take any piece of land in Tobago for the use of the government. That's one of the clauses we had a lot of problems with. And after what has happened in the recent past, we are now convinced that that clause was specifically referring to the Studley Park Quarry. The Studley Park Quarry is a parcel of land that's under the state of Tobago, and the THA has sole responsibility for it. It's vested in the THA. The quarry has been operating for a long time. In 2017, the then administration combined several operations into a company called Spell, the quarry being one of them. There was a crushing plant operation, a concrete operation, and a lab and a testing operation, all combined to form what we know as Spell. So from 2017 to present, Spell has been operating seamlessly without any hindrance from any regulatory or licensing authority. Essentially, we've had the same staff at Spell for those years, barring a change of general manager change of 2 or 3 general managers over time, but the operations staff has been basically the same. This is the staff that fills out all the applications for blasting license and quarry license and so on. And that staff has been doing that over time. There is a series of laws.
You are listening to WZ.
Sorry about that.
There are a series of laws which they are, and regulations that they are guided by, and so this is the processes that leads to an approval, are not processes that are alien to the staff. Last year, the staff applied for blasting license and for quarry operations license, and they were significantly delayed. We made that known to the public because we believe that powers that be in Trinidad, the Ministry of Energy and so on, was attempting to render the quarry inoperable or for the quarry to operate illegally. That we saw it as part of a trend of actions designed to limit the infrastructural development on the island, because it came consequent to an attempt by the company that runs the inter-island ferry and the boat system between the two islands to prevent the transport of bitumen on the boats between the two islands. And there are those who feel that they were denied the opportunity to visit the quarry and maybe take umbrage to that, and maybe they were retaliating because of that. But it's part of the whole autonomy issue where an ongoing government concern has to apply for a license to operate, a license to export, which we have not yet had, and have been denied by statutory bodies in Trinidad. And we feel that this is a concerted effort. One of the ways in which the government of the day in Port of Spain is attempting to curtail infrastructural development in Tobago.
So it appears to me that, and this is my words, that this appears to be a plan by central government to destabilize the THA, the new government in THA, by having certain actions, and we're going to get to the licensing one that happens as well, plan in order to destabilize the current government in the THA. What do you say about that?
Well, I mean, Tobagonians have a long history of struggle with the PNM. I mean, when Tobago voted for DAC in 76, 77, we will remember that the then Prime Minister shut down the Ministry of Tobago Affairs, preventing Tobagonian public servants from being paid for 3 or 4 months, and in an attempt to punish Tobago for making the choice to go against the PNM. And we see this as just that simple playbook repeating itself, where the government in Trinidad continues to punish Tobagonians for making a choice that they legally made in December 2021 to vote the PNM out of office. And in order to bring pressure on the system, pressure on Tobagonians to say to them, hey, vote PNM if you want to live in peace. And so we intend to stand up as manfully as we can, as legally as we can, to this effort to take away the franchise of Tobagonians in the democracy that we have.
So when you say SPEL, right, just for those people out there, SPEL is the Studley Park Enterprises Limited, right?
Studley Park Enterprises Enterprises Limited.
Yeah.
It is the combination of the quarry operations, the concrete operations, the lab testing operations, and the blasting operations.
In the past 21 years, did the prior government have any problems like this with regards to what happened at Studley Park?
Absolutely not. That was my opening conversation, where the quarry operated for a number of years, The PNM in 2017 combined it into an official company registered under the Companies Act in 2017. That gave it a little better structure. And never in the history of the governance where the PNM was in charge in Tobago has Spell been denied a license to operate or denied an export license ever. And those facts speak for themselves.
Now, I want to go to an issue that's current, and that is the pipeline project, right? Now, you could correct me if I'm wrong, right? Is there currently an injunction at the site? Now, from my understanding, is that WASA is laying some pipe, right? And there was some sort of breach of the project, with respect to the discussion between your department and them on where they should lay the pipe, and being that you are sort of responsible for that and to kind of guide WASA with respect to where they're going to lay the pipes because you may have future projects on hand. Talk a little bit about that with the difficulties that you guys are facing with that project.
Well, just for your listeners, the back history is that WASA applied to the EMA for a CC. One of the conditions of that CC was that they need to get approval from the Division of Infrastructure in terms of the route that the pipe should take. We gave that approval with the condition that is the last part, the third phase of the pipeline project, that we want to move the route from along what is Milford Road at Cano Bay and let that route turn into Cano Bay and down the new road that we intended to build. At that point in time, the road had not yet started. We've been in discussions with WASA over the months when the project started. The manager of Tobago division went to the site several times to discuss with the staff there the route and the design and so on. While that project was going on, the EMA took out an injunction against the THA for starting the project without first applying for a CC. WASA, however, has a CC for the same site. And so WASA came to their third phase, and despite our approval, despite our attempts to say to them that you are going against the approval that we have, they decided to lay the pipe along Milford Road between Cove and the Old Friendship Road, and to turn into Old Friendship Road. And we wrote to them, we had meetings with them, and we tried to indicate to them legally by letter from our lawyers that they should hold their hands until we can meet again and sort out the route. And being the big bad wolves, the government of Trinidad through the minister and WASA decided that they were going to do whatever they wanted, and they went ahead and laid the pipes, in our estimation, in the wrong location. And now, when we restart the project, the pipe will be in the way of a roundabout on a road we intend to put at Shervan. And because they're on the site in the estate, unattended by our staff and the contractor staff, there is a severe likelihood that those pipes may become impacted by our operations and may have to be moved or relocated. And all of this, could have been avoided if WASA just sat and worked with us and, understood that we were the authority. And we took a decision at the Executive Council not to go to court, have an injunction to stop WASA. We felt, and we still feel, that we can work this out. It's another attempt, in our estimation, by the government in Port of Spain to say to us that, listen, we are in charge and we can do what we want, despite whatever laws you have in Tobago, and to usurp the authority of the assembly, to disregard it and disrespect it. And it's the nature of the PNM and the nature of the Prime Minister to want to do that, to sell a narrative that maybe we are not governing according to their liking. So that's an issue that will come up again, I'm sure, and we will see how it goes. But we will take every action to ensure that the people of Tobago benefit in the long term, that we position the island from an infrastructural development point to a place where growth and expansion could be catered for, and not allow those from Port of Spain who've planned every project they have planned in Tobago, in my estimation, has been planned to limit the growth of Tobago. I mean, we sat back as an island, as a THA, when the hospital started, as an example, where we had 100-bed hospital for 100 years, and they still built a 100-bed hospital, and the site is limited. You can be little or no expansion at the site. All this was raised, and they decided that that's what they're going to build. Now we need more beds at the hospital. The pipe that they're laying as well is along the Claude Noel Highway. The location of the pipe, despite our approval, will prevent the dueling of the highway in the future. And if the population grows, or when the population grows, and there's a need for more roads and so on, that pipe will be in the way again. And it is a lack of foresight and a lack of vision, and maybe a willful attempt to limit the growth of Tobago, because Tobago growing threatens the PNM survival.
I hear you talk about that, right? I hear you talk about that every project designed from Trinidad is almost designed to limit the development of Tobago in the future. Is that because that this new party is in power? And if the PNM was in power, we wouldn't have this? They wouldn't have these problems?
Well, what what I see is that when the PNM was in power in Tobago, the PNM in Trinidad had a free hand to do as they will. We have examples of the Prime Minister telling the Chief Secretary to sit down and all that in a public meeting. And so whatever decision the cabinet took, whatever decision the government in Trinidad took, the lackeys in Tobago will go along with it, which was not necessarily to the interests of the majority of Tobagonians. And so, it's a challenge that we have to surmount. It's an understanding we have to come to terms with, that in some cases, despite it being PNM Tobago, PNM Trinidad, there has been little or no benefit to that nexus that benefits the majority of the people. I mean, we have the example of the relocation of the airport, the people who lived on that piece of land, as compared to what happened in Tobago and Trinidad when they were building that airport in Piaco. The government of the day facilitated what were then squatters living on that piece of land, built a whole housing development, started a housing development called Oropoon for them, moved them over there, gave them the houses, as compared to Tobago, where the government decided to acquire the land by compulsory acquisition, delayed payment, decided to pay people monies for 6 months rent. Up to now, the project is still can't be completed by the past THA. People are still out of pocket now, 3 years on. And, with people who are having to receive funding and build their own houses after being in properties for years and years. And how challenging that would be. A lot of persons who were elderly died because of the stress of that. And so it didn't benefit the society to have had PNM in Tobago, PNM in Trinidad in the crucial areas. There was maybe a quieter governance system, but in terms of real benefit, there was no benefit. They still only gave us 4.03 when they could give us 6.9, and so in areas that mattered, there was simply no benefit to having the same party governing both islands.
Mr. James, do you think that you said that it seems to be willful by the central government to hamper Tobago's growth? Am I correct? And that's what you said?
I think so.
Okay. Do you think them being willful in their attempts to hamper Tobago's growth, that they would like perhaps for you to secede from Trinidad and become your own
Well,
country then?
we have secession is a bad
Making it
word.
uncomfortable for you to say.
No. Secession is a bad word in some quarters. I think a large number of Tobagonians prefer a different constitutional arrangement.
Mhm.
Many of us prefer a federal arrangement. The secession talk has always been a challenge, but there are benefits to being in a union, and there are negatives to being in a union. Certainly, there's little benefit from managing a union in a way that suggests that we are a unitary state, where the decisions are made in the center, and people in Port of Spain in the parliament who are in the majority as compared to Tobagonians, I think it's 39-2, where we can't affect the government or can't affect the decisions in the parliament. So essentially, we have a Trinidad parliament making decisions for us, and we'll always have that idea in Tobago where we should secede. When the parliament, for example, decides that despite laws like the UN laws of the sea, that Tobago really should only administer 6 nautical miles from the land, and supposedly Trinidad takes the rest. We understand that intent and intents like that, laws like that, always will fuel the idea of secession. I think now, many years on from the THA Act of 1980, people may be seeing the benefit of a federal state, if not a separate and complete entity.
Kind of like Puerto Rico and the U.S.
Well, I don't know the full issue of Puerto Rico and the US, but
I mean,
certainly we know the
perhaps.
struggle of Scotland in the United Kingdom. They have been pushing to become an independent state. They too have energy resources in the North Sea, and they too are struggling with this control from the center. And states like that, states like Tobago, certainly there are advantages to going on your own, no doubt. There are advantages as well for staying in a bigger union. There may be more advantages for Trinidad and Tobago to be in a bigger union in the Caribbean, but we have not. We have decided that we in Trinidad and Tobago will go it alone, despite the obvious benefits of being in a wider CARICOM region. And so the same thing applies to Tobago. There will be advantages, obviously.
And there are islands. There are islands like St. Kitts and Cayman that carry, if not a similar population size, and they're managing.
Absolutely.
And they're managing
islands that don't have quarter the resources that Tobago have. So there, the more I think we feel that we have been disenfranchised in Tobago, the more you will see and hear that sense of Tobago nationalism developing, and the idea of secession from Trinidad will continue to grow.
And I want to get back to just as of today, what is the status of the pipeline project, right? But I just want to add something to what you just said here. But don't we have a son of the soil who is the prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago? And the son of the soil is given the soil that he came from so much difficulties. I mean, I'm trying to understand it.
Well, for some people, Anselm, for some people, politics trump nationalism. And clearly, my appreciation of the situation is that for the PNM survival in Trinidad to continue, the 2 Tobago seats are critical for them. The growth of the Indian population, the marginal seats now in the East-West corridor, the difference in numbers in the constituency of San Fernando East and West as compared to all the constituencies around them. There are severe challenges that the PNM will have to control if they are to remain in power, and certainly without the 2 Tobago seats, it will be difficult. Now, how do you turn over 14-1, and you could only do it by their thinking if you create havoc and chaos in Tobago, and that's clearly the strategy that they have.
You know,
The
I have
fact that the gentleman is Tobagonian is insignificant. He has never ever championed any legislative agenda for Tobago. Every project that was executed in Tobago that was not started by the PNM, he has criticized. He criticized the little harbor that we have. He's criticized the airport. I mean, he was one of the key men championing the protest against NAR. Robinson was head to bring his party back into power. He's never done anything for Tobago, and he continues to put his party above the people of Tobago, and the people of Tobago, I believe, will judge him harshly.
You know, it's interesting, right? And I am taking full credit. Well, no, I wouldn't take full credit for this. Take partial credit for him. I coined the phrase that Prime Minister Rowley is a manufacturer of chaos.
Maybe you're right.
No, I
But
would.
it-
Well, let me take it even further. And I've changed it now to call him Dr. Chaos because he has a PhD. So I believe,
But
and I
that's
believe this.
isn't that his second PhD?
No, that's his third. He had an
That's his
honorary
third?
from
I know
yes.
he has one in seismology, then an honorary from Howard, and then hey, why you pounding on my prime minister,
no,
so huh?
Gary
Watch
Gifford
it
called him
down.
the Doctor of Rocks. That's what Gary Gifford has called. But I have made it known that he is the manufacturer of chaos. So therefore, he's Dr. Chaos. Because, and let me give you a
Oh
quick
Lord, wait.
Petrotrin. He stated that he wasn't closing down Petrotrin, right?
Uh-uh.
He closed down Petrotrin, right? He stated that all you could forget about property tax. Forget about that. He bring back property tax. He even stood on a platform and said, and he pushed the Minister of Finance aside when there was a question. He said, I will take this one. I will take this one, right? And he says, the PNM, anybody here, the PNM property tax is a thing of the past. Paraphrasing here now, eh? The same person in 2009 was against property tax, where he's saying $100, right, is a lot of money for many people who can't afford it. And the same man today is on the other side of the fence. So you have to be Dr. Chaos. Nothing else, nothing more.
Well, Anselm, Keith Rowley as Prime Minister, Keith Rowley as a politician, is one of the few people in Trinidad and Tobago who can tell the biggest lies.
Oh Lord.
I don't know how he does it. Maybe people in Trinidad love him and vote for him despite, but this man has gone so far to say that the organization he heads is the mafia, and they have a mafia code.
Cosa Nostra.
Anselm know about it.
Yeah, the Cosa Nostra.
And he's still in office. He's gone public to say that he's lived close to Lake Ito, and that may be the reason why the prime minister before him, had the demise that he had. And he's still in office. So whatever his abilities are, I think he has abilities, supernatural in some cases. Clearly, he's one of the people who can survive this kind of behavior. In Tobago, however, I think he has not had the support that he thinks that he should have, and I think that has bittered him, angered him tremendously, and therefore his attack on Tobago is because of that. And so I think the people of Tobago will continue to judge him harshly, and he will leave office without contributing to Tobago in the way he sees, and will not make the impact that I think he now thinks he needs to make. Because for him, like I said, PNM survival is bigger than Tobago. This has always been the case with the PNM.
And it's interesting, right?
Sadly, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? When I listen to Sutika Williams, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. That's her name, yes.
I listen to that young lady. I'm calling her a young lady. That young lady is very knowledgeable about what she speaks. And when the prime minister of a country can get on a platform and try to denigrate a person like that, which she's bringing facts, she not coming and tell you, we're not closing down Petrotrin. She not coming and tell you, right, property taxes are thing of the past. She not coming and tell you, you can't remember that you put Wendell Motley on our board. She not coming and tell you those things. She are bringing facts and the law to you, right?
Yeah.
So if she's not speaking facts, you could go and look what the law she talk about and see, well, listen, is Sotika talking the truth, or if she's just making it up like how you just make up things. I don't get it. Why you want to attack somebody like that? I don't get it.
The man is a stranger to the truth, and Manning is probably correct. Anybody who opposes him, he does his best to denigrate them and criticize them. And if you oppose him too strongly, then you see the worst of him.
He becomes a raging bull.
A raging bull. No, in the matter he criticized Ms. Williams-O for, is the matter that relates to the appointment of a chief administrator in the assembly.
Yes.
No, the law that governs that is clear. The law says, and let me just see if I can read it verbatim. Part 7 of the THA Act, section 71.4, it says, prior to consultation with the Public Service Commission on the appointment of the chief administrator, the Prime Minister shall consult with the Chief Secretary. So the issue that arose was that, and that has been coming to light, is that the Prime Minister and the Public Service Commission apparently consulted with each other and decided to appoint someone to be chief administrator without first the Prime Minister first consulting with the Chief Secretary. And we know, Anselm and Diane, how these laws are written. When the law says that the President shall act in consultation with the Prime Minister, the President can only appoint the recommendation of the Prime Minister. That is how the laws are interpreted, and that's how they are written. In this case, it is only the recommendation of the Chief Secretary that can go forward. Otherwise, you'll have chaos. You can't have a third party deciding to appoint the highest officer in the land to work with the government in Tobago, and that appointment being done by an external person.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a cause for chaos. And so, simply because the chief administrator position is not a position that the senior person automatically gets promoted into. It's a position where I believe the senior people in place in the THA public service who are interested in a position and who've qualified for the position, the Chief Secretary will make a determination from that list of the person that he wants to be promoted to the position of Chief Administrator. And the Prime Minister, after the former Chief Administrator wrote a letter to him a month before demitting office through his PS to say that she was leaving office in a month, could not find a time in that month to consult with the Chief Secretary in order to have the appointment be done seamlessly. And that really is the issue. And no semantics around it could change the fact that the Prime Minister had a month of notice to consult with the Chief Secretary in order to make this process go forward. The Prime Minister seemingly wanted to pick somebody himself. And it turns out that the person they selected is a person that the Commission decided to put on suspension thereafter. So that too tells a story of the choice of the Prime Minister.
And it goes even further than that. It goes that, sometimes he doesn't know which when the mango ripe for him to pick it. It just
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a big mango in Tobago, but he sometimes
like I said, PNM survival depends on Tobago, and therefore my reading of the situation is that the Prime Minister and the PNM wanted a specific individual to be in that seat to push a particular agenda. That's the
To
only
do the
way.
work of the PNM. Let me say to do the work of the PNM.
Well, you could say that, they wanted someone in their seat to push a particular agenda in support of their strategies. And I think the chief secretary spoke to that by informing that the chief administrator is one of the officers among a very select few that received a copy of the completed audit. And we took a decision at the executive level not to make the audit public because we wanted to pursue some legal options. And we look back at the history, the Scott Job report and so on, where persons could not be charged because of technicalities. And so we've taken a decision. But if the chief administrator, for example, was someone who had these allegations against them, was in the chair, you could understand the way that audit report could have become compromised, and the opportunity for Tobagonians to see, hear real story in the audit, and to ensure that those who are culpable for severe misbehavior and corruption could be punished and an example be set in the country. That opportunity would have been lost if the Prime Minister's pick probably went to that office.
And I think it's important to note, right, with respect to, there was the management that we talked about that previously, and they talked about the 2 roads and so on and so forth. And my thing is this, if the PNM is serious about corruption, if they are serious about corruption, they will not interfere with this process and let this process go through to its end, if they are serious.
Well, this is something that the PNM should have supported. As a matter of fact, the PNM is supporting that same process in Trinidad. There's several contractors from 2015 who did work with the URP, who have not been paid yet, who went to court, because the PNM did not want to pay them, did their own audit. The contractors went to court, won their case in the court, went to the High Court, the PNM appealed, won the case in the High Court. The PNM has still not paid them. There's the matter of the EMBD contracts. The government went to court as well after a claim came for, I think was $1.2 billion. High Court decided to reduce the figure to 400 million, and it's not been paid. So the government in Trinidad is using the almost identical process that we are using, and they seem to be against it, insisting that we pay, and supporting attempts to extort that payment from us to whatever means they can. And it just baffles me when media personalities support that kind of behavior in Trinidad against Tobago, and for a prime minister who has Tobago roots to support that. It tells you, like I say, for him, taking bread out of the mouths of poor Tobagonians to feed a few rich contractors, who are, some of them maybe his friends and former business colleagues, is more important than ensuring that the poor Tobagonians who now struggling to receive their roads fixed and all the infrastructure needs they have, because the government is burdened by this debt, that they don't get justice whatsoever. It is something that Tobagonians will consider, and again, I think, judge them harshly at the next election again.
So, Mr. James, so do you believe that a lack of a chief administrator has a lot to do with the prime minister's inaction?
It is only his inaction and his willful non-action that has prevented and is preventing the chief from being appointed. Subsequent to the administrator actually resigning, the chief secretary and the prime minister did in fact consult, and a name was selected, and both agreed on the name. That's more than 2 weeks now, and they still can't get the appointment. Now he's blaming lack of a quorum in the Public Service Commission. So I mean, every step of the way, the prime minister seems to find some way of delaying the process. To what end? To hamper the delivery of governance in Tobago. I mean, we are now approaching third quarter as an example, right? to receive the monies from the central government through CAS and Tobago, the chief administrator has to be in place, because that monies can't be received. And so we have a clear, distinct possibility, if this matter is not resolved quickly, that again, like in 1976, 77, several Tobagonians may not be paid. And maybe that's the chaos that the Prime Minister wants to exist.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel
Mm.
that
Some people will say that he's wicked and evil, vindictive and bad mind, because his party lost an election.
well,
But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Good evening, Mr. James.
Slim has said that.
I think you left out. You think I left out? You left out HDD though. You know, there's high definition television, right? But it's hypocritical, deceitful, and disingenuous.
Completely
Good
disingenuous.
evening, Mr. James. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening,
Tommy has
sir.
joined us.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if the THA is communicating with the people on the ground and making them aware of what the situation at hand is, so that they would be more considerate and understanding as to why things aren't being done in the manner that they would like it to be done.
Well, like all communication plans and strategies, we can be better. Obviously, we've been going around the country in these town hall meetings. Clearly, that's not enough. Number of representatives are on the ground every month, some of them every fortnight in the various districts, trying to walk and explain the situation. But surely, a better effort, a more sustained, consistent effort could be done to bring the people to the point where they understand what exactly is happening. Like any government, sometimes you get bogged down and burdened by trying to manage, and you don't communicate as best as you can. But I think we've come to that realization, and going forward, you would see a more iterative communication plan. And we have some time away from an election. We have some time between now and the election. We have 2.5 years.
No, I want to disagree, because I think that you have to start working on that 2.5 years right now.
Right now.
Balance of power. That's why I said we are.
Balance of power that Tobago is going to hold is going to be critical.
Absolutely, but we are putting that plan together, and we roll that out later this year. Like I said, we face tremendous challenges as a new young government. We will not get everything right, obviously, and I think generally speaking, we have been learning very quickly, and I think we are up for the battle, up for the challenge, and clearly, there is a need to go toe to toe with the PNN now. Their strategies in Trinidad have been replayed in Tobago. The lies of email gate and so on, 2 years before an election, trying to find something to build up to an election. That has started, and no doubt we will respond, and we have been responding. The chief response to the tape was well done, in my opinion. The response to the chief had situation in the House on Wednesday was great as well. And so we will take that type of information to the people, and we'll be on more media to ensure that the people are aware of what the real story is.
So here's a question from the chat, right? Kevin Williams says, Mr. James, how will Tobago be able to support themselves financially, I guess, if they were given autonomy?
Well, Anselm, the future of energy exploration and revenue from energy is in Tobago. The reason why the Parliament has always wanted to limit Tobago to 6 nautical miles is because just outside of that, there are rigs. From my calculation, Poinsettia platform is in Tobago's waters if we use the median line between Tobago and Trinidad and the laws of the sea from the UN. There are tremendous resources in Calypso, Pui, Shakonia, Block 22 above Charlottesville. I think we have tremendous resource. We have more resources than Barbados and Grenada and St. Vincent and St. Lucia, and no doubt we can support ourselves. That is not the issue. The issue is whether Trinidad without Tobago can support itself in the future. And I think that's the conundrum that the government faces in Trinidad, because they've built, despite the tremendous resources they have on land, they have built an economy um, based on energy, and they've failed to diversify all these years. They've squandered hundreds of billions of dollars over the years, and the economy is sinking. Without the black market, no, Trinidad will crash. And so even now, um, the question, for example, is why wouldn't why shouldn't Tobago be able to to monetize obvious gas finds in Calypso field, for example? Why shouldn't we be able to do that today, while we contract with whomever to bring that to the surface, in a 5-year period? Why should we be able to monetize that today so that development can start in Tobago proper? We have to understand where we are. Back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, we were getting less than 2% of the budget. That is when, late 60s to 1977, that is when the first oil boom hit Trinidad. And that oil boom was concentrated or found in southeast Trinidad, Galeota, Point 14, and so on, right? That money was used to develop infrastructure in Trinidad. Why can't this thing be done? Why can't we get an equal share of that money? Why are we still talking 47 years later, about 4%? The Ministry of Works in Trinidad, if my figures are correct, from 2016 to now has received more than $25 billion. The Tobago House of Assembly has received less than that. The Division of Works has received significantly less than that. So there is a need for an equal share discussion to take place. There is a need for us in Tobago to move away from the foolishness of 4% based on the population size. The reality is that the fathers of Trinidad, Eric and Ellis, contrived a structure that has depleted our population over the years. There's been no opportunity, no set of schools, no industry. All our people, we have more second and third generation Tobagonians in Trinidad than in Tobago. The diaspora in Trinidad that are of Tobago heritage, maybe like you, Mr. Lebon, above 200,000. They can't find work in Tobago, and so they have taken on population. Nobody has calculated what that economic contribution to Trinidad is from the Tobago diaspora, and count that as part of the economic contribution of Trinidad and Tobago to Tobago. Nobody has done that. All the companies still pay their taxes in Trinidad. The energy companies that are taking gas now from our waters is being counted as Trinidad economy. Poinsettia alone from 2009, by my calculation, has contributed more than $2.5 billion per year to the national treasury. Not a cent for Tobago. So there are nice conversations to happen, from which Tobagonians will begin to see a bigger picture. Which Trinidadians too, who have for years been sold this lie that they are, to use a colloquial term, mining Tobago. For Trinidadians to finally see that. The question is whether the diaspora, the full diaspora of Tobago, can come together to bring pressure on the parliament, to say to the parliament that Tobago needs an equal share, and that a developed Tobago works in favor of a Trinidad economy. That is the conversation that needs to happen. For example, why can't the Senate be 31 members? Why can't it be increased to 32 members and have 16 Tobagonians and 16 Trinidadians? The laws be made that Tobago has an equal say in the passage of laws. You know, why must we be only guaranteed 2 votes in a whole parliament system? I mean, all of that is crazy, and we have accepted it because, you know, I can't even understand why we've accepted it, because we are already free and autonomous. We just have to take it and believe it and claim it, and find a way to end this craziness that this constitution has been forced upon us, that brings that pain and hurt on us.
But Mr. James, what do the two representatives for Tobago actually do in the parliament that benefits Tobago?
Absolutely nothing. They go to Trinidad under a PNM banner. They become a minister somewhere in Trinidad. They've never pushed a constitutional agenda for Tobago. They can talk nothing other than the PNM and the Prime Minister instruct them. And so Tobago is not benefited, has not benefited from representatives of the PNM who are in the parliament. I mean, they're just there to give PNM 2 numbers to have a majority in Trinidad. And they turn around and argue against Tobago development and argue against Tobago legislative improvement in support of the PNM. And I mean, that's clear for everybody to see. And I think we are now seeing a more mature electorate, and I think they too will feel the hurt of the Tobago voter.
All right. I just wanted to close off on two topics. What is the current status, as we speak of today, of the pipeline project, currently as we speak today, and also the Studley Park license? What is the current status of that?
So let me deal with Study Park first. We've received the license to blast and the mining license. We've not yet received the license to export. That's something that we are still working on behind the scenes. So I mean, we are in operation. It's the rainy season is kind of upon us. So as if you know, quarry operations, blasting and that kind of and crushing will be reduced. In terms of the pipeline project, I think I've not gone to the site, but WASA is busy trying to run the pipes out along the Friendship Road to get out to Strawberry Local Road, unsupervised and without attendance from the staff of the THA. Like I said, that will bring some challenges down the road, but I'm sure WASA is doing what they can do. We would see how it all unfolds in the near future, but we believe that if WASA decided to work with us as we had requested and that as we attempted, we'd have a better, cheaper project executed more efficiently.
What was the purpose of the Minister of Public Utilities being in Tobago recently?
Well, boy, whenever there is a different government in Tobago, I think the PNM government and all governments in Trinidad attempt to execute works in Tobago to show they're in charge, and to show Tobagonians, I guess, they are delivering. Because, like I said, right now, given the way the country is polarized, the two Tobago seats are critical for them. So any opportunity for them to do a project in Tobago to be able to say, well, hey, we did this, we put a pump here. He's here to commission a pump sometime, and he's here to start a pipeline project and to talk about it. That's a big thing. These are projects that should have been done years ago. There are lines failing all across Tobago. The majority of the potholes in Tobago are caused by WASA digging up the road to repair lines. Again, when the government, when UNC was in power, got that big loan to do this whole pipe repair project, zero was spent in Tobago. And these are the things that continue to happen. Now we are suffering from these old lines that keep erupting. WASA keep digging the road up. And sadly, the Secretary for Infrastructure get blamed for potholes all over the place, but the potholes are clearly caused by WASA and WASA's actions. And one of the things I've not spoken about before is the fact that WASA has refused to sign an MOU with us to contribute to the repair of the roads. We've met with them last year, February. attempting to negotiate an MOU and still can't get that signed off because WASA doesn't want to progress the MOU negotiations to completion quickly. And so all of these things are designed to bring pressure on the assembly to ensure that the little resources we get from the meager 4.0% is spent on repair work and not development work. And that kind of information we will begin to put out in the public more and more to ensure that the public is aware of what the realities of government really is.
So, Mr. James, stick with us for a little while. We're going to go for a quick station identification. Of course, it's in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us tonight Assemblyman Trevor James, and we're talking about different issues that they are facing in Tobago. So stick and stay. It's Diana, Ansem, Tommy, and you with Assemblyman Trevor James in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Back with you. It's in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come there every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And of course, we have with us live in the flesh, live on direct from Tobago, no other than Assemblyman Trevor James. And he's telling us about the different issues that are facing Tobago with regards to Tobago being treated like a stepchild or maybe a stepson by the central government. I'm glad I could get you to smile. No, smiling is important.
Not a stepchild, an outside child.
Child.
Then, what?
An outside child.
Outside child? No, we had to put pressure on the central government.
You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, Maplewood, New Jersey, broadcasting from Essex County.
We have to put, and I'm serious about this. We are the diaspora, and Mr. James, I want you to take this back to your leader in that we here in the diaspora can play a great part in effecting change in Tobago. Because Trinidad, I think Trinidad might be a little lost under Dr. Chaos, unless in 2025, something, drastic happened in the election and Dr. Chaos is shipped back to Tobago and is farming. Where's his farm?
Mason Hall.
In his farm in Mason Hall for him to mine his sheep and goats and all those other good things that he likes to do very, very well. I honestly believe that we can play a role because we are here and look at things from a global perspective. And sometimes the sad part, Mr. James, is that people in Trinidad and Tobago think that we feel that we are better than them. And we want to tell them how they should run their affairs, right? I don't think that's what it is. I think there are many of us who are very patriotic about Trinidad and Tobago, right? We feel very good about these places that grew us up, make us into the people that we are today. And there are many of us who would like to give back to Trinidad and Tobago. I mean,
I am more patriotic to Tobago. I'll let it be known, huh? Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Dad. And so, we sat down and strategize of how we will use the former DCS to the benefit of the people of Tobago. We developed that portfolio.
James, 1 minute. You say the former DCS, but people don't know who you're talking about.
Watson Drew, my good friend and cousin.
I don't bring that up because you hit that for 6 quick, Was that quick pass?
My good friend and cousin, Mr. Duke, Watson Solomon.
There we go.
We sat down and we developed that portfolio for him. because we wanted the second highest officer in the assembly to be responsible for that outreach to diaspora. That's why diaspora relations was part of the portfolio. Direct foreign investment and diaspora relations, part of the portfolio. Sadly, Mr. Duke chose the PNM over the people of Tobago, and he has left the executive and is now working hand and foot and maybe toe with the PNM. So I'm sure the chief secretary will he's promised to do a reorganization and a realignment, and I'm sure after the budget sometime this year that will be done, and someone else will take that full responsibility and begin to try to coalesce the diaspora, to see how we can benefit from the contributions that Tobagonians and Trinidadians want to make to the country, and how we can bring that expertise and that money that you all have to the benefit of the country.
That's
So
right.
you would see that happening hopefully before the year ends, and a more coordinated approach be had to this outreach that was planned to the diaspora of Tobago and Trinidad.
You think Mr. Duke is practicing disruptive politics?
Well, I think Tobago has seen Mr. Duke for what he is. I mean, he's always said, when he claims to have had his tongue slip, that he's a PNM, and we have seen that clearly. The matter of the choir in New York being used to remove yourself from the executive was a significant matter that could have been resolved easily. But his intent was to bring down the assembly, the current administration, and he's been working with the PNM from day one, and we've seen it clearly now, more and more. And I think he has finally, or will finally, come to realize that Tobago will not support him. He went to a march in Roxborough and got maybe 5 people, and Tobago will not treat well with cowards like that. And I think he and Rowley may find a place in a farm somewhere together.
And
Oh, no.
don't forget the bubbly that was kicking all over the place.
All over the place, the women.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They will kick that bubbly back in the sea and all. Tell them go back in the sea.
Oh, no. But Tobago is so small a place to suffer that kind of political demise, That's
Nonetheless, I believe there's great hope for Tobago. I feel very good about what's going to happen in Tobago.
No, I mean Duke to suffer that kind of political fate, so small.
So Mr. James, you think Duke has put the PDP in the political cemetery?
Oh,
absolutely. I don't think there's any way back for him. It's unfortunate, actually, but again, he's put himself above the people, above the cause, and he's been selfish in his desires, and that selfishness and some greed has been seen now. I mean, people suspected all along, I suppose, but it has come to the fore and come to light, and I don't think he will be forgiven at all. I think that
Mr. James, give me your honest opinion. If an election was held today in Tobago, how many seats would the TPP win?
But given the response that the PNM is receiving, I think we have a good chance of winning all the seats today.
I hear you. Thank you.
But thankfully, the election will not be today.
I know.
We are going to do a full term. Despite the efforts, we are going to do a full term. And we have from day one started to deliver to the people, which is something the PNM could never do. And because we've delivered infrastructure and deliveries in healthcare and so on, the people are now wanting more and wanting more quickly. And so that demand for services that we are now seeing is because of the delivery that we have demonstrated in the year and a half that we've been in office, and that's a good thing. It's a challenge, obviously, but it's a good thing that the population has faith that we can deliver, and they're making demands of us. Whereas before, they were afraid to demand, afraid to talk, know that it's only 2 months before election they're getting anything done, and they were content with that. So it's a good thing, and I want people in Tobago and
You are listening to WZ.
Sorry about that.
I want the people in the diaspora, to see that demand for services, that's challenging the assembly to do more, to do better, to do it more quickly, as confidence in the administration and its ability to deliver, and see it in that light, and support the cause, because I think that is what it is. It is not the opposite, and I think if we begin to become positive about it, we are more likely to deliver more, and I think that's where we are.
Now, Mr. James, going back to the audit report, right? That audit report was on your department prior to you being the Assemblyman for Infrastructure, right? So,
That's correct.
are you aware of the results of the audit report where certain people were implicated?
Well, the audit report has been kept a secret, for obvious reasons. We as an executive want to make sure that, we are if we are going to pay, we are going to pay based on the results of the audit. That's the first thing. I believe from the information that I have, that, the value of the works executed is below 30%. We've had a situation where the last government, in the space of 2 years, committed close to $700 million, and, nobody in Tobago could see where that money is. And so we feel that, one, the projects were severely overpriced, in some cases, not executed. That's the information that we have from the information in the division. And so we went to audit based on that first initial review that we did. And the results of the audit, as presented by the Chief Secretary, the preliminary report, seems to indicate that our initial review was correct. And so while we wait, I don't have a copy of the final audit. While we wait for that to happen, to be made public, we've already seen, the Public Service Commission beginning to take action, regarding to one officer. And I think we, in my division, we've terminated the contract of a contract officer. And I think there may be more to come, but certainly, some of the information that we have suggests that the executive council was used as a procurement agency to source select, contractors, several contracts. Some contractors getting 80 and 90 projects in the space of 1 month, to execute. Plumbers getting contracts valued over $100 million to execute in the space of 2 or 3 months. It was a free-for-all, intended to take money from poor people in Tobago, intended to ensure that if they lost the election, that the new government will not be able to function, and if they won, that the government Trinidad will pay the bill, and take money out of the Tobago purse, designed to alleviate the problems of ordinary Tobagonians. And so we feel very strongly that, for once in the governance of Trinidad and Tobago, that people must pay for this.
And I think that's very important. But I want to ask another question, right? Prior to you guys being in government, the prior 21 years, did the Public Service Commission ever have to suspend another person for this type of violation, or this type of, situation that's happening in one of these
in Tobago? I'm not sure. Certainly not a high-ranking position like this. Certainly not. I think too, there were some cases where monies went missing and all that from Division of Tourism. 10 million went missing. No case was really brought against them, and so PNM to PNM, things are swept under the carpet. But for a high-ranking official, I think this might be the first time that the PSC has acted on allegations against a senior officer like that, and that's a public service thing, nothing to do with us politicians. I think the public servant in the chief had, who received the final audit, who reviewed it after a period of time and sent her findings to the Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission acted. Had nothing to do with politicians or the chief secretary or any secretary or anything like that.
So these allegations are very serious if the Public Service Commission have to step in and suspend whoever this person is.
Absolutely. We have from the documentation I have, millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts being sole selected, where secretaries and senior officials decide, I'm going to give Anselm and Diane and Trevor a contract for this amount, and do the contract. Sometimes just a letter of award, no scope, no contract document, nothing. Sole select, go and do this. In some cases, work not done, engineers sign off on completion certificate that the work was done, pay them. I mean, all under a division that's headed by an accounting officer and the administrator. And so the Public Service Commission has seen it fit to act. And sad as it may be, that's the reality of the situation.
Now, I know that during the first quarter, you had a first quarter report where you talked about saving 2.8 million by canceling and rewarding our contract. That was under the Emergency Restoration Program. It was a 3.1 million contract that was terminated and rewarded and reawarded at $449,000 plus VAT. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we came into office. There was a contract awarded to a company called Warner's Construction Limited, I think is the name. Construction and Sanitation Limited. For the repair of a jetty at Little Tobago. We looked at it at the time with a design build contract. There were no designs on the books. And we felt that the way the project was designed and intended to be executed, that certainly we could have done that project faster and have a project that was functionable. And we took steps to terminate that contract and re-tender it. And that was done. And the jetty is there functioning. It is a nice wooden jetty. And people of Tobago and the people who visit Little Tobago have benefited from it and continue to benefit from it. And we saved another $2.8 million. And that's what we're about to do. We had a proposal as well that we met for the removal of the steps at Bay Hill in Moriah. We attempted to negotiate with the contractor who had submitted the proposal to the past government, and we ended up contracting to someone else and saved $5 point something million. And so
was that the preferred contractor as well?
Yeah, that was the contractor that did the work adjacent to that work, and they had intended to give it to him as well.
That's the same one who was going to build the jetty?
No, that's no. Fortunately, that was a different contractor.
Oh, was a different person. Just checking.
Anselm is Professor Chaos.
That's that contractor.
Oh, that's that contractor.
Yeah, we saved the Post of Tobago $5 million, and we were able to do that design, build, finance with a payment structure over 2 years to lessen the impact on the budget and all of that. And that was successfully done and opened and all of that. So I think Tobagonians are seeing, certainly have seen from the work that we have done, that we mean business. We want to do things quickly. We want to do things in the correct way. despite our challenges with the EMA, we want to do things quickly, and I think to be going to continue to support that. We built that road in Scarborough from Smithfield to Dutch Fort in 19 point something days, 19, 20 days, for $19+ million. And that road was on the books by the PNM for 34, I think $35 million. And yet they complain and try to create chaos around it. But the road is there, built for 40%, I think, less than the price that was on the books.
So what we can say, Mr. James, is that we have situation here where you are saving taxpayers money and giving the taxpayers benefit for their dollars, right? Not overspending, spending absorbent amount of money, when you can do the same thing with 1/8 of the money that was previously contracted, for example, right?
Yeah. I like Anselm. I like the fractions you quote in there. 1/8. I didn't say it. Yeah, you said it, right?
Yeah, me laughing though. No, because when you hear the sums of money that these contractors were allocated and the sums that they could actually do the job for, you're asking yourself, oh God, I mean, at the end of the day, these are taxpayers' dollars, right? And not only that, but at least do the work now.
Well, yeah, no, man. We have projects completed where the auditors, there's a couple of projects, and just quote one of them. The auditors is saying that we actually paid already. The auditors are saying that the payment was $15 million. The auditors are saying the project should cost $1.9 million.
Wait. Repeat that.
The payment made for the project
is
$15 million.
Yes.
The auditors are saying that the value of the project is $1.9 million.
Whoa.
So my 1/8 figure was about right then.
Yeah. It might be a little less than 1/8.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to this. You rather tell me, what is the largest one that, for example, there was one for 500 million that should have cost 40 million, for example?
Well, I don't know about that one, but
no. I didn't say that is one, but I just trying to get an example of one that was significant that could have saved the THA in the 50 million or more, for example.
Well, like I said, right, I don't have the results of the audit. That kind of information will come from the audit.
Okay, all right.
But what I do have is 4 projects, and this was detailed in the preliminary audit. I think there's an injunction against speaking about it, but this is the information that I have from reports from the same administrator who was at the division at the time that I was suspended, who sent reports to me while I was not yet at the division, home on with COVID leave. 4 projects executed, paid for, never done.
Never done.
Completely never done.
And the estimate figure, 50 million, 60 million, 70 million, 15 million.
The contract sum was 13.6 million, and the invoice was 9.9 million.
Wow.
So they got paid almost $10 million for no work.
Doing nothing.
So Mr. James.
Signed off by an engineer, paid by an accounting department, the check signed back by an administrator.
So Mr. James, during the COVID or just after the COVID or whenever, there was a time, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, there was a time where it was alleged that there was no working X-ray machine at Scarborough General. Am I right or wrong? Did I recall incorrectly? Anybody?
Or MRI?
MRI, okay. Forgive me. There was no working MRI at the Scarborough General, right? So you mean to tell me all this money gone to contracts that people ain't do the work and it's not the overpriced. So Scarborough could have gotten their machine then.
Well, Tobago could have gotten many things, you know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about
when
the machine, the
when the,
necessary. You
when the
know?
final when the final audit report comes to light, um, we would see the auditors are now auditing other programs. They're just auditing one program out of four, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Auditing other programs, and just on this one program, I think the total value of the projects $300 and something $1 million,
Mm.
and
Oh.
the figures will be significantly reduced from that.
Mm.
And so we would save the population of Tobago a significant sum, just based on doing our due diligence with this audit. But it is an example of the use of Mr. Dennis by the PNM. Remember, the PNM contrived a system to bring Mr. Dennis into the office of the chief secretary and to use that to sign off on these contracts, to support the few and to move that money out of Tobago. And I think he is the entity, as chief secretary, who sat as leader of the executive council and who signed off on these projects. This is a guy. He signed off on these projects, knowing that the intent was to take that money out of Tobago to overcome it. They signed off on hundreds of millions of dollars with no money in the budget. No money, $0 actually in the executive council note and minute that there is no money on the budget, and somehow asking the Secretary for Finance to find that money from somewhere, committing it. People could do the work for significantly reduced value and claim a massive figure in the end. And that's what the PNM did. And that's what they're asking Tobagonians and even the diaspora to support. That level of corruption. We're not talking in the Tobago context, we're not talking a little bit of money, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
That could have built up the roads and the transportation network so these women can have transportation to get home when the night come in those remote areas. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely.
And
if I had time and another system, I would definitely show some of these things.
Yeah, but you have your back. Here's a friend of WZYE. And Mr. James, I want to say something, right? There are many people in the HDD party. I'm saying many, I'm not saying all. I don't want to.
99.999%.
There are many people in the HDD party, hypocritical, deceitful, and disingenuous in the PNM party, who want to throw the THA chief under the bus for an audio that didn't spend $1 of taxpayers' money. So far, there is no law that anyone can say has been broken. Yet on the other side, you have hundreds of millions of dollars that can be involved in corruption. And many of those people want to ignore that. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because to me, when I look at it, I am trying to see, for example, if Tobago could save 50 million, I'm being conservative now, 50 million. You know how many things that could be done with 50 million in Tobago?
Talk.
So you want to tell me what an audio that have it that audio doesn't take food off a person's table? It doesn't put food on a person's table. A poor person doesn't get food the next day. But you have millions of dollars going out the door. Millions.
And the pandemic come and pull the rug from underneath that small population, and all that millions of dollars gone wherever, and people reaching out to us. We had to help people in Tobago. Now that we're talking about what I did, we had to help people in Tobago, feed the family, feed old people in the old people home and all kind of thing. All these things we were doing.
But then
right?
Even worse than that, Dr. Mashup. You know who Dr. Mashup is, Trevor?
Yeah.
Dr. Mashup. Right? The one who leaking the audios on them, trying to mash up something that he started with a dog by a lamppost.
Right? Brother.
Right, Annie brother, right? All in a sudden, for the benefit of the people of Tobago, and my father, because my father living in Tobago, I live in Tobago.
And
right?
I have plenty friends living in the Roxborough community and Scarborough.
It is important for us. And listen to this. Anselm Lebon coined Fali Chavez Augustine a transformational leader from day one. I also coined Dr. Chaos a transactional leader. Because most of the times, the way he deals with is transaction. And I give them examples of why I coined Fali Chavez Augustine a transformational leader. You understand? I also coined, just so you know, back then, I did coin Dr. Mashup a transformational leader too, because he took our party from 2 to 6 to 40. But then he decided to mash up the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it is important for us to understand that millions of dollars that the Tobago people, the 60,000 people in Tobago do not have the benefit of, is very important. Very important.
Hospital services.
Yes,
they need mental health services. They need drug rehabilitation. I'd be working with Miss Billy. She has a nice program, Billy Sterling Lewis. Nice program. They need funding. They need funding to keep that program going, to take care of those people, that vulnerable population. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Well, I think like I said, the population is becoming more aware. We can do more, and we will do more to bring the information to the people. I don't think these voice notes recorded supposedly by Mr. Duke, I don't know if he did or not. He said he didn't.
Wait, let me stop you right there. Right? He also said he was going to sue Fali, right? Remember, he's got the Monday mandate. I think that mandate gone to Sunday mandate now. It's not no date. It's just a man now.
I mean, we have to be a little more circumspect in what I see, right? But no doubt, the people of population have become a bit more mature. We've tried to cover the entire gamut of the people. We've decided that we must do some development work, and we have employed in my division alone, on a temporary basis. We've created 1,300 new jobs. So we understand the impact the pandemic has had on the society, on the construction sector and the tourism sector, and many people are unemployed. And we've been trying our best to see how we can alleviate some of the pain, obviously caused by the pandemic. And I think the population is beginning to understand how we decided to position our government. We've increased the salaries for URP workers from $79 to I think $149. So we are demonstrating that we are for the people, and we've focused a lot on the unemployed and those who are most vulnerable in terms of the low salaries. And then we will continue to see how we can solve this unemployment problem in Tobago.
You need to encourage entrepreneurship. We had a lot of talented young people on the show, right, Anselm? You remember the young lady with her perfumes, Muriel Ashley? Remember the young man with his gates? He was making his wrought iron gates. I can't get his name. What's his name? Can't get his name. McLean or something. So remember Anselm? Do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember.
We had
there always a lot of talent in Tobago. As a country, we need to increase the effective demand in Tobago in terms of the salary structure that we have. We need to improve our population size to create more demand generally across the island that will improve services and delivery of services. And those things are dependent on the level of autonomy that we have. We don't reverse 100 years of almost zero population growth in a year. And so we have to build the infrastructure, build the social structures that are required to encourage people to stay and to bring back people who have left to Tobago to help develop Tobago and create demand in Tobago. And I think that is not a one-year project, you know. And so along the continuum of development and autonomy, there is a need for us to have this 50, 60-year plan of how we really transform Tobago. We ran the election. One of the critical things was the development of a new port, cruise and container port facility in Scarborough. We feel that is critical if we are going to export, whether we are going to reduce the cost of living by importing directly to Tobago. And those kinds of projects are critical for us. While the government in Trinidad has spent, I think by now is almost $8 billion building that road from San Fernando to Point Forte. They're making a big deal about building a port for 1.2 billion in Tobago. That's a big thing. But they're building highways to rural areas in Trinidad, 500 million to Toco and so on, and having trouble in giving Tobago 6.9%. You know, so we will bring the information to the people. We will bring the information to the diaspora, and we no doubt will develop a special outreach program to educate the diaspora to seek assistance and contribution to the governance structure that we have, and we'll plan a strategy to reach out and you know.
And what about that bridge from Trinidad to Tobago? I mean, part by the airport, you could stand up and look and see part of Trinidad, but you can't use the shortest route.
I know.
Well, I think Trinidad may be more interested in building a bridge to Guyana to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Come on, and charge a toll to come over, maintain it, employed, and that. I mean, because we have bridges longer than that distance in the world and here in the States, right, Angela? So this, huh?
That's a long bridge. I don't think that. Well, I'm not sure if that could be done, but in my own view.
Well, what's the closest point Tobago to Trinidad? Not Toco.
It's about 22 miles.
You can't build a bridge 22 miles.
It's a fairly long bridge. Over not the calmest waters as well. Not the shallowest waters for sure. But that would be a major project. But I think it is cheaper to come by plane.
Cheaper to come by plane. That's why the rate's going up now.
Well, it will go up, and maybe it should go up. But we have to find a way to ensure that Tobago can develop.
Yeah.
What has happened over the years, in case it has missed you guys and missed some people, the government has been trying to build a port in Toco.
Oh.
Right?
Yep.
So that supposedly it will make it easier for goods and services to come from Trinidad to Tobago.
Okay.
If that happens, in terms of the government logic, there will be no need to develop Tobago, because now you can buy everything from Trinidad faster and easier in their logic.
Right.
Wow.
And the risk of projects like that is that Tobago never develops, that we become consigned forever as this appendage to Trinidad, where they can take our oil and our gas forever and do everything in Trinidad and say, you know what, it's close, you could always come to Trinidad and get the service. You could come to Trinidad and get the surgery that you need in the healthcare system. You don't need to build anything in Tobago. You could come to Trinidad and get the agricultural produce. You come to Trinidad and get medical supplies, and you come to Trinidad and go to university. Because we make it easy for you to do that. We can build everything in Trinidad and do nothing in Tobago, and we will bring you to Trinidad to do it. And half the population will stay in Trinidad forever, and we will remain at 50, 60,000 forever. And that's the strategy of the PNM, and we have to be careful what we support, because projects like that are intended to stymie development in Tobago. We have to build a Tobago that can live the ideas of anthem side by side We have to build a Tobago that if a storm turns left
Mm-hmm.
and hits Port of Spain, Tobago can stand up.
Mm-hmm. And
So we
help
have
out Port of Spain.
to build the infrastructure in Tobago that allows Tobago to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? If Port of Spain gets overrun by water,
Mm-hmm.
uh, boats can't sail, goods and services can't come to Tobago. That's it. We will die if Port of Spain dies, and you can't plan a country like that, obviously. So we have to be careful the projects we support, careful the ideas that are exposed that we lend our voice to, because the autonomy of Tobago is dependent on Tobago building out a country that can stand independently of Trinidad. If that does not happen, then we've lost the plot of the dream of APT and Bigat and those guys
Mm-hmm.
that always intended for Tobago to self-actualize and in this crazy union that we have. And so a bridge doesn't work for us, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let me
But
say,
those are my personal views.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me say welcome to Troy Smith, Starboy Joe Field. That sound like somebody from Tobago, Starboy Joe Field. I think I know some Joe Fields in Tobago.
Many
Megan
of them.
Morrison. That sound like a person from Tobago too. Kadisha
Yes.
Stevens, welcome.
Tobago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tobago.
that's them sound like Tobago name.
That's your family.
Kadisha Stevens.
Miguel.
Kadisha Stevens says, Watson so petty he broken. Okay. I mean, I just reading. Look, another one. Miguel.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Miguel.
That sound like another Tobagonian. Yeah, Kadisha.
He's from Venezuela.
Miguel,
Now
Kadisha.
he's from Tobago, it looks like.
Tobago, yeah, Tobago, yeah. Yeah.
Miguel.
So Miguel says, or Kadisha Stevens says, Miguel, all of a sudden, ENM and PNM is friends. EME and PNM is friends.
Not
Right?
all of a sudden. That's always the case.
That's always been the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that remember, listen, all this talk of the EMA,
Hmm.
the data we have suggests that no major project started in Tobago without CEC. All the applications for CEC came after the project started. In Trinidad as well. The EMA is just um, using the law to victimize Tobago under instruction of the PM. And again, they too will be judged harshly for that.
Somebody
All
said in the chat, if managed properly, Tobago can be a top tourist destination. I concur
absolutely.
1,000%.
No question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
1,000%. Mhm.
And soon we will roll out the updated vision for Scarborough. We've put out a major RFP looking for PPP contractors. I think we've received a lot of interest, and so we begin to structure that project in a way that we could execute it. And EMA or no EMA, we will move forward. I think there will be opportunities for a lot of people in diaspora to contribute and to participate in the projects that we are rolling out. And so, guys, I want you all to look out for them. There'll be some nice things coming. We have one out for Marina and Kings Bay. That's well on the way. So we have a holistic plan for the island, and we are in fact trying to find ways with which to bring direct investment into Tobago within the
Oh, yeah.
laws that we have. A lot of the laws are against us, obviously, but we are still pursuing ways that we can do that, and I think we'll become ingenious in how we do that.
So
And
here
we
is
need-
a statement from Miguel.
Mm.
Miguel. Look how and I'm just reading the statement as this. Look how the PNM blocked the Tobago to Grenada ferry service plan, but introduced the MV Windward to do the same. Is that accurate?
Absolutely accurate. Absolutely accurate. We tried to do that. We proposed that in our campaign. Um, and as usual, we are cut out of the discussions and they go ahead and do it from Port of Spain. There's no benefit, there's no need for it to be done from Port of Spain. We have a history of connection with Grenada from Tobago. There's several people in Tobago with Grenadian heritage and vice versa. My great grandparents who were born in Grenada, came back to Tobago by a Tobago father, and came back to Tobago when they were young children. So that connection is there. We ran on one of the concepts we ran on is inter-island connectivity through Scarborough, and as usual, we have no say. Tobago has say in the parliament, and the parliament runs the country as though the country is Trinidad. And that's something we have to fix.
So Michael also says Tobago needs the powers and right to set up our own mini oil and gas refinery to generate direct internal revenue. But
I'm not certain if that's the best thing. I think there will be a need for a little bilateral arrangement with Trinidad. Trinidad has the refinery. They don't mind really close them down. They have the refining capacity there still. They have infrastructure there. And a bilateral, I mean, train 1, 2, and 3 is still, well, not train 1 so much, but train 2 and 3 is still functioning at the LNG. And so certainly a bilateral arrangement will be faster and certainly easier. But the point is that we in Tobago and the government in Tobago must benefit from the resources that are in Tobago's waters that rightfully belong to the people of Tobago. And we must get an equal or an advantageous share of that resource. And we cannot sit by and sit back anymore and accept this 4% that they've been granting to us. This when the oil and gas was off Galeota Point and in Labrie and so on, all of that money was being spent in Trinidad. All of it. Now that the energy resources are in Tobago, we in Tobago must demand that we get the majority share to build Tobago, because certainly we can't get it in the recurrent expenditure from the budget in Trinidad. And we must be at the table. This is the point. We must be at the table when blocks are being sold. We must be at the table when contracts are being negotiated with oil companies. We must be at the table when revenue is being collected. We must be at the table. And if we are not at the table, then we will get zero. And that is what has been happening as we get cut out completely of the resources that are rightfully the people of Tobago. And we must not allow ourselves to be governed by a parliament that is working against us and telling us somehow that we are some backwater country that we should just accept it. Nobody's better than Tobagonians anywhere in the world. You could imagine if Trinidad and Jamaica were linked in a union, and Jamaica was taking all Trinidad energy money and spending it in Jamaica, what would happen? What would happen? 200 and something members of parliament, and they dominate the parliaments because they're the numbers, and they take all the money and spend it in Jamaica. You think what would happen? That is what they're doing to us in Tobago, and we need to find a way. We need to find a way to go to a referendum to stop this rape and victimization of Tobago and Tobago people and Tobago resources.
It's coming. It's coming. The power of the vote.
Yeah.
2015, 2025, you're going to fix that.
No,
God willing, that's what will happen.
No, Mr. James, I did a little homework, right? And I think this is a great initiative. It's called the SMART Initiative. Show Me a Road Tobago.
Yes.
It's currently only available, I think. Is it available on both Android and Apple, or is it just on Android?
It's on Android. I think we had some problems with Apple. So I'm not sure yet if it is on the App Store. But it is a great initiative. We've had problem with that we have so much requests for repairs that the division could not keep up.
Okay.
We are moving to that place, as part of as we reorganize the division and stuff, and we get the resources to acquire more equipment, because it's a financial constraint where we spend a whole heap of money on renting equipment, and the speed at which we wish to respond is not there in capacity wise yet. And of course, the WASA is the major termite that destroys the roads around the country, and willing to contribute to the repair. So we've had some challenges which structural, administratively, we're trying to sort out. But the app is in fact a great app, and I think it may be an opportunity for us to sell it to different islands.
See,
in the region.
right, and that's why I brought that up, because I think it's important. I think again, right? I know it might be that came from your department. Who department? Which
Yes,
department?
yes, from our division, yes.
Right. So
Actually, I ran on that. That's one of the things I ran on.
Oh, okay. All right. So even though it came from your department, of course you will get a lot of the credit, but the credit the start of the guys at the top. That's
No, the credit is the team. We are a team. We
Yeah.
are a team.
Right.
Led
Okay.
by the chief secretary, and then there's no individual credit. We sit in the executive council, and we take collective responsibility for things.
Right.
And we make decisions based on the majority, and the app
Trevor,
is.
the reason why I brought that up, right, is because that is a splendiferous, fantabulous, marvelous, trumandiferous, splentacular initiative, right? And I think the people have to know more about that type of initiative, right? And a second initiative I see that you also did, and this is on your page. By the way, I work at the New York Stock Exchange for 23 years, and I like to do plenty of research here, so don't get upset with me.
No worries. No worries.
Right? You had an initiative on your page with respect to how athletes can get scholarships, right? That's another thing I saw on your page, and I say, wow, this is very, very interesting, because Tobago produced a lot of some of the best athletes from Trinidad and Tobago. You see? And I went to school on a track and field scholarship.
Okay.
I know exactly what it's like to get a scholarship. You see?
Yeah, I think we have in Tobago we have not focused enough on the talents that come out of our natural genetic strengths.
Correct.
And no doubt we've dominated the primary school competitions for years. And we've dominated the secondary school championships for years, until they change it now from zone to individual schools in order to stop our dominance. What happens is that we fall down after secondary school. So we don't have the level of competitions in Trinidad after secondary school. We don't have the physical playing areas and training areas that Trinidad has. So our natural talent, it becomes a bit strained, because we need to train, and we need now money to do it outside of the school system. You need money. And so I think over the years we've fallen down where that is, and we haven't yet developed a system where we understand that when our athletes go out and perform, the name of Tobago benefits, the community of Tobago benefits, and the tourism of Tobago benefits. That is why Jamaica's tourism is so buoyant, because internationally, Bob Marley, Hussein, and Shellyan, they are known names, and people want to see where that talent came from. So we haven't used Dwight York as best as we can as well.
Nicki Minaj.
Well, Nicki is Trinidadian.
Oh, oh, you hit up below the belt.
No, they're not below the belt. I was just focusing on it, because I think Trinidad has benefited a lot from the talent that Trinidad has exported.
Kelly is from Tobago.
You see what happens at Carnival. You know, when Minshall went out back in the 80s and the 90s, you saw what that did. So we in Tobago, we haven't sat down and think through. We haven't developed our own scholarship system in Tobago for athletes. Even for academic scholarships, we still waiting on the central government to finance our scholarships. I think, we need to develop our own scholarship system. My two daughters won national scholarships, but there are
Mr. James,
several.
you want to get me upset? Let me
I don't
quickly
know.
tell you something. Let me quickly tell you something. There is a gentleman by the name of Huey Cadet. Right?
Huey,
Yeah, you know Huey, right? He
yes,
used to be in charge of sports in Tobago.
yes.
In a time past, anyway. I will talk to you off here. I rather do that.
But see, it's part of the whole thing. You see, because we have ceded government to Trinidad, to the parliament, we've given up these things and hoping that somehow somebody in Trinidad develop something for us. The reality is that we have to nurture our talent here. We have to provide the incentives for them to perform.
Mhm.
We have to provide the opportunities for them to go abroad and become better at what they do.
Yeah.
And we can't wait. We are in a smaller society. We have to get the best of what we can get and send them abroad to become better. We can't compete with Trinidad or Jamaica or a bigger island. We just can't. We will never win.
Mhm.
And so we have to develop our own incentivized program for education and sport in Tobago, so that our island scholars are Tobago Island scholars that go out. We don't have to compete with a massive secondary school population in Trinidad to try to win one scholarship, which is what we do now. We can't. We can't continue like that. Otherwise, we don't incentivize the young men and young women who are struggling to develop, to hone their talents in the primary school and secondary school system. And when they get there, they're competing with a bigger territory. Imagine Trinidad competing with Jamaica. All the scholarships will go to Jamaica because it's just a bigger territory. You have more to choose from. And that's what we continue to do in Tobago. Try to have this one country thing where our students and our athletes just are not inspired to participate and push themselves because the competition in Trinidad is something above them. So what if we incentivize that thing here? Look at what happens in Grenada.
Yep.
They don't have Trinidad to compete with, but they're still producing the Jameses and those other guys on the 4x4 that they have.
Yep.
Javelin and so on. They don't have to compete with Trinidad. So those guys have their own incentivized programs that allow them to excel. And despite this sovereign democratic state that we have in Trinidad, we have to do the same. And we have to put money into those kinds of programs if we are to incentivize these young men and young women who are coming now into a 10, 15-year program to make sure that when we get to 17 and 18, the best of Tobago could be displayed for the world.
So I wanna in the last few minutes or so we have left, because we've been having you here quite a while now. We appreciate you giving us such of your time on a Saturday. Now, I know that one of your division top achievement is with respect to coastal erosion. Just talk a little bit about that. Just give us a little 2-minute summary about that. This I know because that's in my research it says that's one of your division top achievements. So just talk a little bit about that.
Well, we came into the division and we met a study being done by Smith Warner along the coast from Pigeon Point down behind Sandy Point to where NP has their station there. I think that's almost done. They're doing the final models and so on to see what coastal structures are required. As you may know, Pigeon Point, Crown Point is one of the lowest areas in Tobago, and will be the first to go underwater if tide rise too high. So that study is going to be completed shortly, I believe. But we have a major challenge around the island. We have challenges in Kendall. We have challenges in Bacolet. So we have challenges in Scarborough as well, lowlands. So Plymouth, when you come around, they still have to move vessels from Plymouth to go to Windhole when the storm surge rises. And so there is a need for an entire coastal study of Tobago to understand what is required for us to live with this rising tide. And I think we coined an intent called Living with the Sea, which we are working on. It's been headed by Dr. Thompson, who is Tobago and living in Canada. And we're trying to see how we can find the funds to map this whole coastline to see what is required if we are to protect Tobago from being eroded, invaded by the sea. That's a long, expensive project, but we decided to start. When we came into office, there was a loan that the government in Trinidad was negotiating with CAF, and I think they had assigned $15 million to Tobago. We've been doing our best at the division to negotiate with the Ministry of Finance to submit the documents that are required. We've had a lot of trouble with the Ministry of Finance in pushing this thing forward. And there seems like a reluctance to give us the $15 million because government has changed. And so those kinds of troubles will continue. But no doubt, from a planning perspective, we are intent on doing some studies that we could do and seeing how we can determine what protection structures are required for the coastline. Because we are linked to Trinidad, some of the monies that like Barbados and Grenada would get from the European Union and stuff, we can't get because we are this developed country in the region, So we're trying to see how much grant money we could apply for and so on to help us. But no doubt, we would put the necessary foundation studies in place, and we will sell Tobago on the idea that this is what is required here, there, and around the island if we are to protect the island from invading and rising high tides around the island. So those low areas could be protected. But it's a major challenge not only for us, but for small states around the world and for island states around the world. Rising sea tides is a major problem, and a very expensive problem to protect against. And that's one of the areas definitely that the diaspora could assist with.
So what we're going to do, Mr. James, we're going to go for a quick station identification, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up. We thank you so much for being in the village here with us tonight. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you just join us, Miguel, I see your question. Tobago last 21 plus years, admin wasted money on invisible projects instead of focusing on building our infrastructure, universities, indoor sporting facility, etc. They was busy building bus sheds and filling their pockets. Imagine Tobago don't even have a main bus station hub at present. So when we come back, let's go for a quick station identification. We have with us Assemblyman Trevor James. It's in the village with the DAC triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. It's Diana, Ansem, Tommy, and you in the village. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this message.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAC triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. If you join us late, we have with us tonight Assemblyman Trevor James from the Tobago House of Assembly. And we had a fantabulous discussion tonight talking about different issues that are facing Tobago. And it was brought up that the central government of Trinidad might be treating Tobago as a stepchild or a stepson. That wasn't from Mr. James, but that was from I was once here. So, Mr. James, right? We want to say to you that we appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight. We think this was a lot of information that we shared with the diaspora. We covered many items in details. We talk about the difficulties that Tobago is facing with respect to the central government. We hope that, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago will see the importance of Tobago and, stop, causing chaos with respect to Tobago and do the right thing by Tobago. So any closing words before you go?
Well, I mean, given that the majority of your listenership is in the diaspora, I want to say that there is an opportunity for people who love Tobago to contribute. The government in Tobago is always willing and eager to have conversations with persons who want to contribute to the development of Tobago. No doubt, it's clear that we have challenges in the union with Trinidad, which we have to resolve. Um, and any effort, any contribution that could be made legally, um, constitutionally, to help with the improvement of the relationship, we are willing to talk about. The chief secretary will assign the responsibility for diaspora relations, I believe, I would say shortly, and that person will begin to lay out the strategy of outreach to the diaspora to help with the development of Tobago. We want a situation in Tobago where our population grows, our demand increases, and our economy can stand on its own. And that can only happen if we reverse the movement of people out of Tobago. And so on that note, I just want to say thanks, Anselm and team, for having me. Anytime you want to discuss Tobago specific pertinent issues, I am available, scheduling notwithstanding. And we are here to connect and to share the story that is Tobago that we are trying to build.
Well, Mr. James, we want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I thought that this was absolutely a splendiferous discussion, and we need to have more discussions like this, in order to give the people information, and to give them smart information, not show me a road to Tobago, but give them smart information.
Yes.
I'll use the acronym in a different way.
Yes.
Right. So again, thank you so much for joining us.
Mr. James, let Pastor Baines know I'm still waiting on my fish. He promised me fish the last time I was there, and I ain't getting fish yet.
We had lunch today.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also of WZYE as well.
Yes. Pastor Baines, no, I want my fish. He promised me.
He told me to tell Anselm that he has crab waiting for him.
I don't. I say fish, not no crab. I want fish.
Vegan, man.
He don't eat nothing dead or living.
Vegetarian crab.
Yeah.
Vegetarian crab.
Thank you, Mr. James. Thanks so very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Anytime.
Bless.
Yeah.
Conversations to have, boy. Huh?
Yeah. These are conversations that we need.
It just dawned on me that I remember there was a issue where people were waiting a long time at the hospital because either the one MRI machine had broken down, and I was like, really? Right now, you see all these millions of dollars allegedly going out the door, and the one machine broken down, and the Tobagonians suffering for MRI.
We're gonna fix Tobago,
We're gonna fix Tobago. You know why? Because we cannot allow Dr. Chaos and Dr. Mashup.
You like to name people, huh?
Yeah, very good. I like to name people. We cannot allow Dr. Chaos and Dr. Mashup, right, to come in and disintegrate these people like they disintegrate their own party. Seriously. We cannot allow that to happen. Because they want to confuffle you. Is that a word?
Yes.
All right. They want to
discombobulate.
Oh, yeah. Discombobulate you. I'll tell you. Oh, listen to the audio tape. What the audio tape saying and this and hundreds and millions of dollars going down the drain. You want to listen about audio tape. As I said, does that audio tape put food on people's table? Or take food off of people's table?
And the people that you displaced because you're building a new airport, which is necessary, they can't get their money.
But the people come and move their stuff and put it on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I had Chinese people throwing out the Tobagonian. Remember?
what has to happen? What truly has to happen is that Tobago people have to get focused and realize that these distractions are to stop what they see coming, because
Progress.
they know
Absolutely right, Tommy.
they know good and well that once the next election bell rings, if things remain the same with the THA, the current TPP is going to win both East and West, and they're going to hold balance of power in Trinidad and Tobago, and they will be the ones who could negotiate and make the necessary changes that they need to make to get Tobago right. No other party.
I agree with him when he said 14 and 14, though. Why is it, Trinidad controlling everything? So it's Trinidad and Tobago. Well, let them have an even say inside. And however they divide up in Trinidad, well, they divide up. Right? And so everybody have a say now.
But the power that they need and the representation they need, they will only be able to get once they take full control. TPP takes full control of the East and West seats that holds the balance of power in Trinidad and Tobago.
I'll tell you something.
Without them two seats, neither party could form the government without talking to Tobago.
That's right. Then they may be forced to give them their own bacchanal, their own on your own.
So go ahead, Tommy.
They don't necessarily have to go on their own. They just need autonomy where they can call their own shots and handle their own stories.
Yep, because Tobago are two people in the parliament. It's like like them two is step girls. They're step girls. Step
I tell you, outside children, the step children in the house, them just get see about at least, but they're outside. No, they don't care.
Some outside children just get taken care of.
Okay.
The inside children. So listen, Miquel, is it Miquel or Miguel? Miguel. Put closing comments in the chat. Kadisha, welcome. Miquel, welcome. Kadisha, put closing
Miguel, you from Chumacabra.
Closing comments in the chat. Who else again? Kadisha, Starboy, Joe Field, put closing comments. Megan Morrison, if you're still there. Vonnie Roberts, Troy Smith, Kevin Williams, Judy, Nadia, Diana Benskin. Sorry.
The Onyx Wave.
The Onyx Wave. Curtis Montrichard.
Say it in the universe. Yeah, say it in the universe.
Arjun Kapiza. Well, you know Kapiza real name is Arjun, right?
Capitan, that's my
I don't know why
Arjun Singh.
Nadia, Rose, if you're still there, Judy, if you're still there, put closing comments in the chat. So I just want to say, right, folks, is that what we try to do, we try to bring people in so we could have discussions and uplifting conversations, and informative discussions.
And not bacchanal.
Yeah, we don't always want. I mean, once in a while, highly as well. Highly put closing comments. We from Trinidad and Tobago, so we're not gonna get away from bacchanal and confusion because
I could get away from it.
Yeah, no, in my estimation, most Trinidadians have 2 BSc degrees: blame and complain, and bacchanal and confusion. You know what I mean?
However, we focus on solutions to some of the issues that are plaguing us, Trinidad and Tobago as a nation.
Correct is right. Yeah. Correct is right. Yeah. Miguel says every political organization needs a fair chance in taking Tobago on the path of growth and advancement. PNM don't own Tobago. Non-performance will be voted out accordingly.
Whoa.
Yes. Our boy Joe Field says, very informative indeed. Let me go back here. Kadisha says, since I'm 3 years old, they promised that that bridge from Trinidad to Tobago. Kadisha also said we need to educate people on our island and everything will be okay. The PNM turn off people badly.
Oops.
Okay.
Ansel and Diana, have you ever traveled the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel?
Yes.
Going down south, yeah.
Yes.
from the peninsula
Yes.
to Virginia Beach.
Yes. Yes.
Long.
Yeah.
And it's a bridge in certain spots, and certain spots it go down and it's a tunnel under the sea.
Oh,
Yeah.
Comes
Yeah,
up
I know what you're
under the
talking about.
sea,
Yeah,
and it's a bridge again.
And
yeah,
that's when I was getting panic attack. I had to shut my eye and pray to come.
no,
I don't like that.
that's what you're talking about.
I used to traverse that very often when my son went to Hampton, because he went to Hampton, which is the same area, in that area.
I don't like that. No, give me the creeps.
So Starboy Jewfield says, I believe that Tobagonians' eyes have been opened up now, and the Tobago that this new administration will make it happen, but not without a fight. Nothing good comes easy, and the chief sec there was appointed, and he and his team will fulfill. I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. I believe they're going to try everything possible, in order to destabilize them. And Dr. Chaos is going to be the chief mastermind behind the whole thing. And he got Dr. Mashup as his deputy.
Before you thing, I wanted to mention, I'll just mention it quickly. It said Russia wants to make it easy for Trinidad and Tobago nationals for visa-free travel. We could talk about that.
Right, I saw you send that. Yeah, we go talk about that next time. I saw you actually send that. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I guess we had to wait and see. So, folks, it's always a pleasure when you join us here in the village. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Subscribe to the new listeners.
Doesn't matter what party you're from. You can come and talk your piece. Just make sure you come with your facts. That is all.
Subscribe for you new people. It's for free. You'll know when the program is on. When Anthem sends out his bullet.
Yeah, WZYE TV, and it's on the screen as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, let me get my closing comment. Yeah, you know what? I haven't said this closing comment in a long time. Growing up in Chumaka Clavantil. Starboy Jofi says Dr. Chaos and Dr. Mashup. Let them go ahead with the audio tape. Laugh out loud.
Let's go to the audio tape. Remember they had a sports fella?
Yeah, we gotta have a section. Let's go to the audio tape. We have an audio file You gotta have an audio file segment. Audio file segment.
I just hope and pray that the Tobagonians don't get distracted and spend time looking and thinking about that, and they focus on taking charge.
Yeah. Stay focused. Miguel says, once we get the crime under control in Trinidad and Tobago, we can consider and explore that bridge again. Yeah, boy. The last thing we want is what's going on in Trinidad right, to end up happening in Tobago. We don't want that. So we had to stay focused and keep our eye on the prize, because it seemed like if Dr. Chaos mashing up everything in Trinidad. So
and I heard in the news allegedly that this TikTok influencer was shot in Trinity.
Yeah.
Fellow named Young Boss.
Yeah, so
alleged. Yeah.
Yeah.
He died?
Yeah. Marcia put up the post, so I guess might be some credibility to it. Huh?
Yeah, so folks.
You know him, right, Tommy?
Not personally.
Yeah. Social media influencer.
Yeah.
Right.
And he have a following with our behavior. So go ahead.
So folks, and growing up in Chumakak, I always say this to myself: your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. And secondly, I always say this: hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. I wasn't the most talented athlete, in my high school or in my college, but there was no one in the team that ever outworked me. From where I said, this is it, the clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, as I said, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Later. Go ahead, Diana.
I want to say belated birthday greetings to Marjorie Lloyd.
I send Marjorie happy birthday greetings.
Well, I don't know if you did on the show the night, so we have to say belated birthday greetings.
Marjorie, happy birthday, boy. By the way, Diana will kick out Marjorie. Eh?
Oh, no, guys, that's not so. Marjorie politely seceded her position to me. Let's put it like that. But anyway, we're staying in the realm of chaos. And Deepak Chopra said, all great changes are preceded by chaos. Deepak Chopra said, all great changes are preceded by chaos. Another chaotic quote, growth comes from chaos, not order. And that is by Rakesh Junjunwala. This is Diana Benskin, the Onyx Wave, and your poet bidding you auf Wiedersehen until we meet again. Good night, beloved people. And vote, vote, vote when your time comes.
Thank you, Diana. Tommy, you up?
Well, I like to say time is a precious thing. Never waste it. And especially to the people from Tobago. You're going to get a chance to get it right. Stay focused and do what you have to do to empower yourself in the real sense. Again, it's been a pleasure being here in the village. Sorry to be late, folks, but I had circumstances that are beyond my control. And I'm glad that I was able to make it anyways. I always enjoy being here in the village. Looking forward to the next time. Again, be careful out there, because the news that I just got there even reaffirms the need to be cautious out there. Okay, love you all. Be safe. See you next time.
Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome.
And lastly, Mentor Batiste says, we don't want any bridge. We don't want any bridge. We want autonomy. If you don't want to give us autonomy, we will take independence. Okay. All right. So I don't see any closing comments in the chat. So we're going to go straight to, all right, let me go to Choki tonight. Let me go to Choki. So folks, take care and come again. See you on Tuesday. We're going to go to Choki. Take care.
This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, the difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Saint-As, Maraval and Saint-Clair, they don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is their thing. That's why PNM quite on turned court to UNC. And when Del Motley, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector Macklin, the speaker, swore PNM till he dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka Singh, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity, and he joined about 5 parties. So he's only die-hard new and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC. I lie. Oh, die. Oh. thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is only a power play to get our sympathy. It's not about African, it's neither East Indian. It have nothing to do with anybody's religion. Kamaluddin is a Muslim, Mahathir a Christian to the brim. Yet Montano the mulatto, different race, same party, you know. Johnny Milton and Rex Awan are two Chinese politicians. And while both of them love PNM, Brian Whiteton had a problem. Them French Creoles in St. Anne's, Marabal and St. Clair, tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Right through, Richmond does be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing, money is their thing. The name Steve Ferguson, Israeli and East Indian, who with Ishak Galbaran sing, both parties they financing. Joey Saw and Eli Elias, a PNM Lebanese, and yet Sabta of the same cast helps UNC pay their fees. Syrian businessman John Rahel, PNM make him mayor. An African Wade Mark as well, UNC made him minister. PNM's fundraising dinner had businessmen of all color. So it's only Chupidi, you and me. It's PNM and UNC. I like. This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, it foolishly splitting we on the grounds of ethnicity. It make friends mash up fast, race hatred it unmasked. It cause ignorant people to bring out their gun and cutlass. And while poor people arguing about who good and who should win, the leaders jumping like monkey from one party to party. Just look at Arthur Sanderson, Horace Brooms is the next one. And first they could skip, they deserve a pick for hop, step and jump next Olympics. Look here, them French Creoles in St. Anne's, Marabal and St. Clair, tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Richmond has been supporting who they feel going to win. That's right. Loyalty, friends, means nothing, money is their thing. Halsey Bagan left UNC to open she own party. Kamala Bises and now previously she run wrong to UNC. Abu Bakr supported all three and now he fought nobody. Errol McLeod walking wrong daily, so you can't say which side he be. A&R, my good friend, walked out on Eric Williams years ago. And yet, last year he would say how he loved Eric for so. Ralph Maraj and Manning get away, and Ralph was UNC next day. And yet, notice you cussing stupid me for PNM and UNC. God bless. Yeah, Hollis Liverpool. Shockers. Hey, Chucky. Hey, Lion. Mama, getting the message. This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, it don't mean one blessed thing to Britain, France and Germany. It don't hold no water for Clinton and John Major. Them don't care who in power once they collect their Canada. When Clinton buy oil and sugar, no party doesn't matter. Them greenbacks that Clinton send we, Mark and Jack or UNC. That's why Deborah Mickens lately for the Tobago Assembly. I say hats off to she for thinking like me when you see it independently. Them French Creoles, Vincent, that's Barabal and St. Clair. Tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Rich men just be supported who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends means nothing, money is nothing. Abubakar left PNM, open his own party. Moving as some run from A&R to now, then he run back by UNC. Morgan Job joined now recently, cause he said that he loved Robbie. But while he in now bodily, he mind still up in UNC. Party in TNT, money is their ideology. That's why Brian White don't tell me he ain't taking over our poverty. Ramesh Maharaj cussing Manning, but do you know he was PNM years ago? So would somebody show me the morality in PNM and UNC? Alive. God bless.